Uh-oh. It's Thursday night forum, and we are back. Well, Gary's been here. Thank you for taking the shows, Gary, last week. I do appreciate that. And I have returned, and I was just saying to you, Gary, I go to Ireland for a week and visiting family, and I come back with 3 wins, Gary. How about that?
Yes, good trip. Good trip. Good productive trip. So,
I went over there. I picked up 9 points for us for the cause. You know what I
thank
mean?
you very much. Yes.
And listen, if it meant us getting another 9 points to add to the tally and maybe take something away from City, I would do that again, Gary. I would do that again.
Yep. Yep. I would be okay with that. We could do
Yeah.
with I would be
All
okay
right.
with
So,
that.
let's start off. We're going to catch up on a few things. I haven't been able to speak about Arsenal for a few weeks, so yeah, I landed last Saturday the Wolves game. Leandro Trossard scoring a wonderful goal, Gary, against Wolverhampton Wanderers.
You know what? It seems so long ago.
I know.
It seems so long ago. I'm like one game at a time. And what just happened yesterday? I don't even remember. You're
Yeah.
talking 2, 3 games. You're talking 3 games ago now. Now
Well,
the Wolves game, I think went. Oh, in what I do remember of
your
it
memory.
is
Yeah.
is that we managed that game,
Yeah,
and I
we
think
did.
we've been managing games since.
Controlled.
We
Yep.
didn't exert ourselves too much. We didn't over do take anything. We made sure our defense was solid, but then we didn't go too much. As far as I'm concerned, go too hard on the offensive side. When we got chances, we took them. I think we seemed to be in control most of the game.
Yeah.
So I think that's the one thing that we got going for us is that we can just control the games. One, because of our defense, but two, I think just the way we've been playing.
Yeah, definitely. Casting our minds back to the Wolverhampton game now. Stephen and BX Gunner in the chat box right now. Evening, gentlemen. Hope you're good. Welcome, Stephen. And yeah, I'm going to cast my mind back to the Wolves game, and it was a game of control, Gary, and we didn't give up too much at all in terms of opportunities to the other team. Pretty darn perfect. And when you compare and contrast that to Manchester City, and they're getting a 2-0 win against Nottingham Forest most recently.
Yeah.
But I didn't watch the game live, but I understand that there was opportunities for Nottingham Forest that if they had a striker of note that could put the ball in the back of the net, the chances were there. You know what I mean?
I think Chris Woods, as far as some people are concerned, is there was a big deposit made. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think people have thought, something look a little suspect with his attempts at goal, and maybe his pockets were a little full, and
no correlation at all to a tweet that I saw back in the day from him of a particular following a particular team in blue. Beginning with Manchester and ending with City. But anyway, is there a twist to come, Gary, in these coming games?
You know what? Right now, we can't. We have to do our job. We got to do our job. We have to keep winning games, and then we'll see what happens. It's not on us anymore. We've had multiple chances to control the thing, control the narrative, control, if we win or not. Now, the only thing we can do is just keep winning one game at a time, and then we'll see what happens. Like everybody's after today, nobody's expecting that that game at the toilet bowl to mean much, right? And this weekend, Wolves play. We beat Wolves 2-0. City could easily beat them 2-0. I think I don't know if it's an away game for them or not.
A home game for them.
It's a home game for them, so Wolves have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe that might make it good for them. So yeah, no, they're a good team, and the thing is, I think our defense is much better than City's. I mean, we held them to 5 shots. I think no shots, one shot on target. in the second half. So not much going on for them. So yeah, I think City, as we saw, Nottingham Forest, they will get chances, and Wolves, if they get chances, they have, we'll see if they have, better
Fire, power,
finishing
accuracy. Yeah.
You know what? Every team gives you a chance. Sometimes you never get to the goal to actually take the shot, but you will get a chance, and whether you take it or not is up to you.
And Lawrence, well,
Hey, Lawrence.
thanks for joining us as well, Lawrence. And playing away from home, every team will have their chances as well. Nottingham Forest had their chances; they didn't take them against Man City. But the hardening thing for me, and I know you can go both ways, you can go either way on this one, Lawrence. But the hardening thing for me is that Manchester City are giving up chances here and there. If a particular player could take them, you know what I mean? And they've got to play after Wolves. They play Fulham, and like Gary said, maybe that Tottenham team are not up to snuff, as they say, and then West Ham, and for the final day. So, Lawrence, I'll put the same question to you. Do you think there's a twist yet to come in this title race with 3 games for Arsenal and 4 games for City to go?
Definitely. You just don't know what's going to happen between now and the last day of the season. We've got a difficult opponent ourselves on Saturday. I mean, I don't know if you remember the corresponding game last year. Mm-hmm. They gave us one hell of a fright.
Yeah.
And it was only by the grace of God, Reece Nelson done the business in the last minute. So you just never can tell, can you?
No. There's a couple of things about that Bournemouth game, and I'll let Gary have his say as well about it. That Bournemouth game, there's a couple of things. We have to be, and I think we've been good at this, we have to be ready to come back down on the level, feet on the ground to go again against Bournemouth, because a win against Tottenham in the North London derby will mean very little to us if we fall on Saturday against Bournemouth. We're going to play them before Man City play as well. So we have an opportunity, Gary, to extend more pressure upon them as well. And as Lawrence said last year, Bournemouth gave us a fright as well.
No, for sure. Hello, BX and the Gunner in the house, Steven in the house. Welcome to the show. Yeah, no. Well, for once we get to, play before them. It seems like the last couple of, times that City has played, they've always played sometimes after, I guess, before us to set the marker, basically, right? This is our time, put the marker down, and then, Wolves will, hopefully Wolves will see it and go, huh, yeah.
The other thing,
we need to put it down, because I can't have them going, oh, well, you know what? If we get if they get a draw, then that doesn't really help us. They need to lose, really, and we have to get points.
A draw puts it into goal difference, Gary.
Yeah,
a draw for City puts it into goal difference. Then what I mean?
Yeah. So they need to. No, but if we don't win, right? So if we don't win, then they still have that.
We don't forget about it if we don't win, right? Also saw a stat about Bournemouth where since November they are 5th in the form table since November. So they've been a formidable team, home and away. And I think they're 5th best pressing team as well. Arsenal Vision podcast mentioned that today. I was listening to that. And there's a couple of other nuances, Lawrence, to this, that Gary O'Neill was a Bournemouth manager, and they're very close to each other between Wolves and Bournemouth in the table. And I heard somebody say that Gary O'Neill will want to finish above Wolverhampton, will want to finish above Bournemouth. And there's 2 points in the table right now. Just happens to be that they face Arsenal and Manchester City, respectively, this weekend as well.
Yeah. And you were just saying a minute ago, it could come down to goal difference, which is what I've been saying these last few weeks. I mean, you look at the difference in the number of goals scored between us and Man City. Man City have just got to beat someone 5 or 6-0 and then it's game on again, isn't it? You know, this is what I've been echoing to everyone. You know, that game last Sunday, we really should have turned Tottenham over. But again, we failed to capitalise on our chances. You know, once we went 3-0 up, it's let's shut up shop and let's ride it out, you know. And, you know, it almost bit us in the arse last week. It didn't, but it almost did. And this is just typical Arsenal. We cannot kill teams off. Once they've got this thing in their head, our players, once we're 3-4-0 up, let's shut up shop and let's try and keep a clean sheet instead of going for the kill.
Yeah, and I think my theory on that one is that we came into the game in rhythm. We had beaten Wolverhampton Wanderers. We'd beaten Chelsea 5-0 at home, and we'll talk about that a little bit as well. We came in and we played Tottenham off the park, albeit not with the less amount of possession that we would have wanted, right? So we rode our rhythm into that game, and I think the Tottenham waiting around for 2 weeks, waiting for a game, got into their rhythm in the second half. That's the way I kind of see it. And we kind of fed into their energy by giving them an opportunity. And that's the way we do try to play out with David Raya. And I'm not going to criticize David Raya for what he tried to do, although it didn't come off right. And but that did energize them. And we had a couple of decisions that were 50-50, and I think the referee chose he played a very good game for me, obviously, because most of the decisions went in our favor, right? So
right, let me ask you this, Ray, and I know this is going to piss Gary off, but do you think Aaron Ramsdale would have done what Raya did last week?
Well, no. I mean, different goalkeepers going to do something different, right? But I don't think that Aaron Ramsdale would have done that in that situation. But we have seen Ramsdale do things.
You say that, and then you talk about the Bournemouth game, and then tell me, how can you just say that?
Brentford.
Oh, it was a Brentford game?
Yeah.
Whatever game it was, they're both not the best goalkeepers. They both will have that in them to pass the ball to the wrong team in the wrong positions on the pitch. We've seen it. So to say Ramsdale,
Lawrence, you got your answer.
No, they both do the same thing. They both have skill sets, right? They both have positive and they have similar negatives, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so in terms of like giving the ball away like that one. I mean, so I'm watching the game. I was watching the game now. It's finishing up now. It's like in the 75th minute here, but that I just saw that pass again. He's looking at I think it is Saliba, and he doesn't see Romero standing there, and the ball's just it's behind Saliba, and it's right at
it was just
Romero.
It was perfect.
So, you know, Romero being in that position, why? Right? Everything about that play says, you know, that's Romero does weird things, right? Why is he sitting up there so high pressing? He's not, you know, I don't think he's supposed to be there at that point. So everything about that just, you know, if he just passed the ball to Gabriel, we probably win 3-0 easy.
Yeah, he played the ball out right, even to Ben White on the
he had two players on the outside of him wide open. He goes through the middle, and you know what? 1 minute, if he's going through the middle, you're assuming it's because he sees something where we might be able to get something out of it, which is what you wanted, right? You wanted us to take chances and not step off the gas. And when we did. You saw what happened. So I kind of feel like it's a double-edged sword, right? I think our defense is too good, anyways. Where you're up 3-0, it does. You know, you're up 3-0. We shouldn't even be thinking about how we got this. How no, it's not going to happen. We're not going to lose. Our defense is that good, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where I am about that. I think you're up 3-0, and the way they were playing, they were sitting back. I think bringing on Sarr did give them a little bit of an up, but I think we actually just threw gasoline on what was just a little flicker at that point, and created our own.
But that was
nightmare.
the game. That was the game that last season we'd have drawn.
You know how many times you're going to say? You know how many times you probably have said that? If this was last year, we would have lost. If this was last year, we would have never got the goal back. If this was last year, right, we wouldn't have made the penalty. Like, that's to show you where we are. Because if last year we lose this one because we give them, we slip up. What happened after that goal goes in, right? Raya does what? Basically shuts shop.
Catches.
They get nothing, right?
Yeah.
The only time they got an opportunity to really score was a penalty kick, which was, I don't know what a defender's supposed to do sometimes in that situation. He's supposed to know that there's somebody coming in behind him. It is what it is.
Look, I think it's a penalty, Gary, of course, but there's no difference to what Rice did to whoever that player was. I can't remember. To what happened to Saka a few years ago against Crystal Palace, to what happened to McAllister when Doku did the same thing when Liverpool and City faced up against each other as well. Gunnar Matata is in the house. I love that name, Gunnar Matata, and Bargav's in the house also. So thank you for joining. So yeah, Gary, what are your thoughts on how we let Tottenham back into it? Did we have the rhythm going into the game, or were we sloppy and we let them back in, or did their energy come to the fore in the last 20 minutes of the game?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think we gave them a little bit of life.
Yeah,
they weren't going to do much.
Yeah,
I mean, I think we just were managing that game like I was telling you before. The Wolves match, we pretty much managed that. It looked like a team that was wasn't going to get out of second, third gear.
Yeah,
we're just going to take our time and coast through this thing. We're that good enough. We're that good. Sorry. This game, they got all the possession. Did it mean much? No. Right.
No.
Didn't mean much at all.
You were.
Which it's one of those games you're in control, and they get nothing really. I mean. Nothing really.
Yeah, look, you expect when you go to the north to the wider lane, you expect to be under pressure for longer periods of the game. And I took it. I took the last 15 minutes, a little bit of stress. I was walking around in front of the TV, pacing, and that's when I get a little nervous. Gary, you were sitting doing the podcast, I think, watch along with Ryan, maybe, if I'm not mistaken. Watching the last 20 minutes of that game.
I know. What was it? What day was it? It was on
Sunday.
I don't.
Super Sunday.
Yeah. No. It was definitely tense.
It was tense.
Definitely looking at that clock, going, "Please go faster."
And I was happy it was only 6 minutes. Lawrence, how did you deal with it? How did you deal with the last 15 minutes?
I think I aged about 20 years. I'm literally. This is part and parcel of being an Arsenal fan. The amount of stress this team puts us through. I think I told Gary last week, it was a strange game because even though we were 3-0 up, I didn't think we had control of the game.
Yeah.
I just didn't think we were in complete control.
No.
And sure enough, when we gave away that goal, I thought it was everything was going to go tits up again. And talking about tits up,
there he is. Whenever you say that,
I thought he was going to spend more time doing his other show, but he's here. Everybody, welcome to the show, Tony.
The co-host of the Fool Nelson is in the house.
Yeah, we just finished 4 hours. Tom cut out 20 minutes, and we still went 4 hours. So
I think Tom is not paying you enough, Tony. Mr. Tom is not paying you enough,
I deserve more tokens, more Zooms.
Exactly. Stan, evening. Hope you're doing well, Stan. Stephen said, who knows if there will be any surprises. Tottenham has fallen into the crapper completely, and Bournemouth has looked solid and a threat against us. Wolves, Fulham, Spurs, West Ham, surely one of them can get something from City. I did a poll earlier. There was only 15 votes, but the split is 33% that it is possible that City will drop some points, even one draw. It is 33%. 67% feel Man City will run the board and win all 4 games. You can't blame them. I told you, I predicted to you that Liverpool would fall away. We all knew Tottenham, if it was a 10-game season, that they would have won the league in October. I cannot predict what Man City will do. We live in hope. We live in hope, Tony. You know what I mean?
but Liverpool, you didn't know every player was going to get hurt.
Yeah, but I also knew that they were running on fumes, and they went all out to win cups, and it's a good season for them if you win a cup. I feel, you know.
Yeah, but they were in the one spot the whole fucking season.
They were in first place for not the whole season, but they were there at vital stages in the season, and they didn't take their chance, and they weren't able to take their chance.
They were there more than we were. Right.
Okay. All right. Lawrence. Yeah.
Ray, what did you think about that flare up between Salah and Klopp?
Very, very, very interesting, right? I think it came out later that it was about something about getting a red card or something, right? If you put me on, he wanted to get on the field. Klopp wanted him to go to get ready to go on the field sooner, right? Is that what it was all about?
No, my understanding was usually when players come on, they will shake his hand or something like that, and I guess Salah wasn't having any of that. Probably
it doesn't look good
because he wasn't playing.
Good.
So,
Gary, what's the optics of that look like? It doesn't.
It doesn't look good. But I think it's also frustration as to where they are, right? And it's in the last couple of weeks, right? In the last couple of weeks, they've just been knocked out of cups and and put in the far behind in terms of how much control they have of how this season ends, right?
So Gary, I think that they have turned into an emotional team this season, much like Arsenal last year.
Yeah, kind of started with the announcement, right?
Started with the announcement, and many Liverpool fans are a little bit irritated that Jurgen Klopp did that, but I don't think that would have impacted their season immensely.
Yeah.
By him
I don't think they just did that for show. I think they did that because if it comes out another way, then people would say, "Why are you holding it back?" So I think it's a lose-lose at some point, with that information. It's actually better he holds on to it himself, but I think he's also given his team the opportunity to plan.
Yeah.
Right. Somehow the information went out, so maybe it was Klopp, maybe it was somebody in it shouldn't have come out. Basically, it should have just been something that was known internally, higher upper management maybe knows it, and that's it. And but yeah. If that's the case, we don't even know. They might have wanted to push it out there. I'll be surprised if they would, but
isn't this part of their decline at the end of the season, Ray? Because all these players are
still. Did they do that last season, Tony? Did they not finish strong last season?
They finished strong when they had their troubles early and injuries, right? But it did finish strong, yes, Gary.
Yeah, but that's not where I was going.
But that's what happened last season. So why would this season be any different, Tony?
It's all these players are thinking of where they're to go because they don't know who the next manager is at this point, which Liverpool should have done. So you have all these guys that are just half playing because they don't know if they're to stay or go. So
they had 4 trophies to win this season. In all of them up until 2-3 weeks ago. So to say all of a sudden all this pressure of where I'm going to be playing next year, when I could win a Europa League, when I can win an FA Cup, when I can win the league, are sitting straight there in front of my face. What are your priorities? Where you're playing next year, or maybe to win the Premier League? At the least.
I think maybe injuries. I think injuries more than Tony's theory there. I think injuries might have hurt them more than anything this season. Manchester United fans will be happy that they said they'll think that they wrecked their season a little bit with 2 draws in the league and that FA Cup win as well. And Manchester United, they're in the final. Somehow they're in that final as well. tough luck to Coventry as well. But yeah, a bad look. I think Salah might go to the Saudi League now. Arne Slot, we remain to see what he's going to do next season. And
more like he'll go play for one of the 4 teams sponsored by the Saudi fund.
And the cycle, the Arsenal cycle would get stronger without Liverpool in that stratosphere. Anyway, you asked the question,
sorry,
Lawrence. You asked the question.
Yeah. I, whenever you say that name, Arne Slot, it reminds me of someone out of EastEnders.
All right.
They have a manager called Klopp. It's not that. It's a couple of letters different.
Yogi.
Yeah.
Less letters, 2 O's, right? Or what? I don't even know if it's 2 O's.
Slot,
but
yeah.
Right. So I kind of feel like, you know what? It's a funny name if you want to call it that, but it's a name. It's a German name? Is that right?
I saw a good ad about. I thought it was in German, but the ad was basically about a hiring company, and what is Klopp going to do next? And he had all these various outfits and costumes that he was in terms of he could be like a Zen master, he could be a baker. It was good. It was good.
It's kind of like me. I can be lots of different characters.
We know that. We know that.
Yes and no. Okay. So I'm just going to burst your bubble. Yes and no.
As
never has a truer word been spoken. Tony can be a real character.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I'm going to catch up on the comments here real quick. Stephen said we had Spurs dead in the water till Raya stepped in and gave them life. Definitely. Why can't they just clear the ball in an emergency and just regroup instead of panicking and suffering? It's not an emergency until you make the mistake, and this is the way we play. BX. Hi, all Gooners or not.
He made a similar pass. I just watched the replay. He made a similar pass. It went further up the pitch. This time he went short with it, and he went poorly short and off. So it's the nature of how we play, and if we get it wrong, sometimes we get punished. And
looks bad.
I think it's only the first year for Raya in this system. You would expect and hope that next year we won't see those types of plays from him. But there might be somebody new. You might see it from Timber. You might see it from the next guy that comes in. So I think it's going to be a learning curve for everybody who comes in and plays, right?
Yeah, 100%. Thinking Saturday is a trap game. Exactly, Bargaff. Hopefully they're taking it seriously. And I think Mikel Arteta will be keyed into that and get into these players. You see the intensity of him on the sideline, looking at everything we're doing, and compare that to Ange from today. I believe it didn't go so well for them. Bournemouth have shocked us and scored in the opening minutes. We can't get caught off guard. There's a ton more pros than cons. Havertz 3 goals. Exactly. We're going to get into the BX's, the good stuff as well. 3 goals, 2 assists. Chelsea Spurs was great. He seems to be on fire and found his flow. Colonel Ward's in the house, Gary. Hello, all. A big hello to
it's
Gary.
more called Arteta put him in the right position.
What's that?
It's Kai being put in the right position, finally. It isn't
Kai. Exactly.
It isn't Kai. He's being played where he's to be played.
Isn't it amazing, Tony? 11 games that Havertz has played at number 9. We've won 10 of them and drawn 1 of those 11 games that he's played up front for us.
Most of those, we've had the most clinical guy we got, Trossard, next to him. So much better than Jesus, those two.
Yeah, we'll talk about that as well. Aguna Matata said, can I ask if you don't mind if we do win it, are any of you going down to the parade? Probably won't be in London. We're not London-based, but we will be there in spirit for sure.
If I have an opportunity to make it there, I will try. But it's like going to be short notice, right? So
it'll be the final day of the season, Gary.
Yeah. And what is the parade? Is like 3 days later or something like that, right? So.
I just hope
Gary
we're
needs
not
to find a
ruining.
layer jet that still works.
Ray, I just hope we're not ruining the fact that Mikel Arteta and Martin Odegaard said before the Man City game, we're going to go for it. And those drop points against Man City end up us costing bites in the arse.
Yeah.
And we lose the title because we basically parked the bus against City at the Etihad.
Yeah.
But
or we go
that 1 point
for it. We go for it, and then we lose, and then everybody's like, "Well, you put yourself in harm's way, and you got torched, right?" Because that's what happens as well. So I kind of feel you damned if you do, damned if you don't in that situation.
Isn't that where you fuck up though? You play to your strengths. You don't play down to the team's strength. That's why my Thunder
what did City get out of that game? Do you recall how that
Here we
game
go,
went?
Lawrence.
How did that game go for City, Tony? Do you remember how it went?
Yeah.
Do you remember? Were they punishing us?
Haaland ended up in Saliba's pocket.
Yeah. So do you So I don't understand. We made sure they
Gabriel's
did not punish us, right?
I'm just stating the fact that before in the pre-match interviews, both Arteta and Odegaard said we're going to give it a go. We're going to go at them,
and they did.
And for the whole 90 minutes, we just sat back. We basically parked the bus.
I just sat there and absorbed the pressure the whole game, right?
That's not going for it in my book.
Wow. Nope. I don't think you can go toe to toe with Man City at the Etihad and win a game. Nobody's beaten them. Liverpool haven't really beaten them.
Real Madrid did. Real Madrid did the other week.
On penalties. It was a draw.
No, nobody's beat them.
Yeah, but they went toe to toe with them.
That's the question is nobody's beat them. Real Madrid didn't beat them. We didn't beat them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, listen, I will say, if we're sitting here on May 19th and we're 2 points off where we needed those 2 points, I think I would look at other places in our schedule, in our games where we lost those 2 points. You know what I mean? And if City lose it to us, they'll look at a lot of draws that they had as well. You know, and that's just the way it goes. At the end of 38 games, it's the team that has either the most goal difference or the most points that are going to win it. We hope it's goal difference, right?
I mean, would it be ironic if it was Tottenham that helped us win the league title?
Very, very. And the media have already seized upon that, Lawrence. You know, Colonel said, "Parade if Arsenal win the league, there will be a summer-long carnival in North London again." The parade talk has not been muted. We're just talking about it now, really, but nobody's talking about a parade because we're in a title race with Man City, and we know what that means now after last season. You know, I was thinking more of a rave, mate, to be fair. It's going to be nuts for years. Let Tottenham have their little party. You're not finished top and not winning the title. Exactly. I don't think... None of us took that seriously the first 10 games for Tottenham up to October. Havertz has definitely landed the minerals this year. Definitely done the business. And we can't say Ange out. He's on stage 1. Liverpool quad to ribbons. Just catching up here. Sorry, guys. Sorry, lads. I've got ADHD and love banter. Yeah, bring it on. As long as you're... come on in and be part of the community. Join Gary's podcast over there, DWTT. Check it out. Search it on Arsenal. Tiger and Gooner, morning. I hope you're enjoying life at the top. Tiger and Gooner.
You're not going to tell him how much we love banter, Ray?
We love banter. You love banter. And if you love wrestling, go follow Tony as well at the Fool Nelson. Ultimate banter over there.
So, Tony, have you got a new set of crayons yet?
I got them just for Gary.
I don't know what that means, because none of that's all.
I got a 64 pack for Gary.
Tiger said,
Why are you
I
trying
wanted
to
to win.
conversation, Tony?
Ray, 40 miles from here, it used to be where the crayon factory was. Pretty cool doing a tour of a factory.
Crayola?
Yeah.
Okay, I got one near me as well.
Yeah,
You might know that.
They stagger
too,
they
right?
stagger them.
Yes. Tiger and Gunner, I wanted to win it at Old Trafford again. I don't think Manchester City are going to afford us that luxury. Man City are not going to drop 2 games to allow us to do that.
Have you designed the mini packages, right?
I guess he was in UK based, but who knows? Love all Gunners. What's that, Tony?
Have you designed a package for Crayola?
Yeah. Of course. We've taken 4 points from City there. That's not a bad haul, Lawrence. You know what I mean? Aston Villa for me.
No. I mean, how many teams have done that?
No, not many.
Not
many have
many.
taken
No.
4 from City. Tiger and Gunner said, "Where were you last week?" Right, I went back home to visit family in Ireland. Tiger and Gunner, so it was a little bit of a chill with family, if you know what I mean. It's not always chill, but chill with family. Tiger.
How was it dealing with 2 Man City fans, right?
So I'll tell you what. I arrived up to watch the game at my nephew's, right, and it was the 18th minute. I think it was the 18th minute when I arrived. 20 minutes in, I walked in the door. First thing the Man City fan was like, "Don't even say anything, Gary." He was like, "Don't even say anything," because he was for sure that Man City fan. My nephew, he is a little bit worried about Arsenal that we're still there. Do you know what I mean? So I would have to take it that some of the adult Man City fans are a little bit annoyed that Arsenal are still there as well, Lawrence. You know what I mean? We're annoyed that City are still there, but I think they're also annoyed that we're hanging in there and we're going to take it to the final day of the season as well. You know?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think it's an advantage that we're still not in the Champions League.
Yeah,
I think that's if we had been in the Champions League still, that would have been added pressure.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that Bayern are 2-2 with Real Madrid as well, and they've got a chance going to the Bernabeu. But I did see the one clip of Tony Cruz. It was a close up of Tony Cruz making a pass and being excited that I think it was Vinicius Jr. scoring, but then also Muller. Gary has an affinity for Muller because of his drive to succeed, right, Gary? He's got that competitive spirit. Muller's absolutely going crazy because his defense have let a goal in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what we need at that level, Gary, in the Champions League.
Well, we, as you know, I've heard it. We've played this certain levels. We sometimes, we need to impose our will as well, right? Against Bayern Munich, we needed to, in some respects, play a little bit more of our style of football. Yeah. I mean, they didn't run away. They didn't really run away from us. We once again, what do? We do the same thing we did in the North London derby. We made mistakes and we got paid. We paid for it each time. We didn't respond. And haven't responded like we need after that first goes in the North London derby. We need to respond with a goal of our own, right? Same thing in the Bayern Munich game. Mistakes. Yes, mistakes always happen, but you need to respond in kind, and we didn't. We haven't done that. So,
were any of you guys annoyed by the media, how they were making a big deal that we beat a very poor Spurs team? Like, oh, that's a fantastical, spectacular win. I'm like,
it's a North London derby. It's not everybody says it going in, and then when it happens, then they want to negate everything they just said. Going into it, it's a North London derby. They are not good, but it's a North London derby.
Yeah.
And they're not good. But guess what? It's a North London derby. So guess what? It's going to mean something, and they're going to play. Like we saw they played in the second half. You're going to say, that's a North London derby, right? In reality,
but
basically,
Gary, 37.8% possession, 9 shots.
Did you feel threatened by them? Did you feel threatened by them, Tony?
I did when it was 3-2.
No.
Bit.
Did you feel, what you're talking about is the first half and like 60, 70 minutes of the game. The last 30 minutes, yeah, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But
but they still have a control.
They are.
Gary.
It's not like they don't have Son, right?
They negated what we did. We've been getting around 20 to 30 shots.
Did we need to?
I think we played that game well.
I've been saying this multiple times. We can score so many different ways, and then when we do, people complain that we don't score the other way. For like a whole month or two, we're sitting there. We haven't had a set piece goal and a corner goal in a while. Well, guess what happened in this game? We got him. Goals come different ways. You're not going to score 5 goals just because you score. Like, I would like us to be able to score. If we can score every way that we can, guess what? The score will be 5-6-0, right?
Yeah.
But we don't do that, right? We're good for 3 goals in any game. You just don't know how it's going to go about, right? Because we can score anyway, on the run, on the counter, on a free, on a free kick, on a corner,
And we played a lot. We played a lot on the counter, I thought, on Sunday against Tottenham, and we took advantage of them on the counters, especially that counter-attacking goal from Saka. Yep.
Right. I thought we were very weak on the left flank with Tomiyasu and Trossard. They did absolutely nothing. Well, they kept getting in each other's way. Trossard was giving the ball away inside our own box. I thought he was playing for Tottenham.
Yeah,
that whole left.
You know what? They both punished each other. Some with the passing, because they would pass the ball. Like I said, I watched the replay and I listened to the commentary, and you can see it. There was a couple of times they passed to each other in dangerous situations where there were white shirts all around them, and it just like either it startled them or whatever, but they put themselves in some bad situations.
Yeah,
and that's. That comes from not playing much, I think, as well.
I think that's called Arteta making Tomiyasu be a fucking attacker instead of fucking defender.
Well, listen, I take on board what you're all saying, especially Lawrence. Trossard did lose the ball a little bit in his own half, but I did remember Trossard coming back to help Tomiyasu a lot. So I think our wingers do cover our fullbacks very well, and it's the way Arteta demands us to play. I thought Tomiyasu had a decent game, all things considered, but I understand your concern in that combination of Tomiyasu and Trossard not maybe working as well as White and Saka will.
It's just what Arteta's asking him to do. Tomiyasu is not an attacker. You've seen us set up the game before in a back 3. And you had Tomiyasu being the fucking attacking guy instead of Zinchenko should have been there.
Mm-hmm.
I think Trossard's got a bit. What's the word? Got excited that Anne Hathaway is his favourite. Is his favourite Arsenal player.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that. There's a video of Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, it was amazing.
While the Arsenal Wolves game was going on at the same time. And she almost fell out of her chair when he scored that goal.
Hey.
I think it's got to his head.
I think I've got to start watching some of Anne Hathaway's movies now, just because she's a good one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The Devil Wears Prada, Ray. #1 movie.
Okay.
You can't attack him too much, Lawrence, because he's our third scorer, third most goals, and he's barely fucking played.
I think Trossard's getting more and more game time now because Martinelli is not in form for whatever reason.
It's because he learned that Jesus and Zinchenko doesn't work. He finally realized it.
You know what? He's just Tony. He's not going to make changes at the first sign of blip. You know this. That's why you know this, because you see it. We see. How many times are we going to see the same thing?
Yeah,
right?
but he should have learned it fucking last year, Gary.
No. He's stubborn. You
Not
keep saying
until 2 weeks
you say
ago.
he's stubborn, and he's stubborn. So he's not going to just change it up because it didn't work for 2-3 games in a row. Because we've seen it. Havertz played where? How in the midfield? How many times? All right.
Way too many.
A lot. Yeah.
And then as soon as as soon as Partey, I guess, starting to get a little bit healthier and healthier, he spent less time there, right? So,
yeah,
I think he did. I think he did it because he didn't have anybody else besides Jorginho to fill a spot in the midfield.
Yeah.
But he punished the team because you know what? I kind of feel like we might score 4 or 5 goals. So what? We win 4-2, 5-3. I doubt that'll happen, but I think, we'll see. I kind of feel that's what he did there.
The best move he did was realizing that Jesus is not the answer.
Tiger said, I was annoyed by the Raya gift versus Tottenham. Yeah, a little bit earlier we were talking about that, Tiger, and I think that's just a consequence. We all agree it's kind of the consequence of the way we're playing. One of us thinks that we should bring Ramsdale back.
Every team plays out of the back. It's what dominates football now.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
whether we like it or not, I like the deep kicks. What's funny, Ray is good at the deep kicks.
You know what? The deep kicks, and if you think about it, it's like they're not that accurate.
Yeah.
Right, and we're not that good.
And here's the thing:
we're not that good on those one-on-ones because we're not that good. You see it every time we put that ball long. 9 times, it seems like 6, 7 times out of 10, we don't get anything out of it. So what's the point?
And Tom's right. Arsenal were second best in every metric except the one that matters. And maybe we set up to play that way, Gary. And maybe we set up to absorb the pressure from Tottenham that we anticipated from them and catch them on the break. And I thought we played the game perfectly. We took advantage of their deficiencies, which I don't think it's been proven Ange is probably never going to try to rectify how they work their set pieces and defend them. Welcome, Alonso. You arrived just as Tony is going into full chaos. I don't think Tony's at DEFCON 5 yet, but he's about 3 or 4 right now.
I'm just being truthful. The guy learned at the fucking last minute, and that's why things changed.
All right, so Havertz and Saka immense in a set-piece victory, Alonso. What were your thoughts on the North London derby?
Yeah, I was watching the watch-along with Gary and Ryan and Liam. And the possession of the ball in the first and second half were just going Tottenham's way, and it was very frustrating as a fan. You would think that Arsenal would expose the scrum down the street, but it was not the case. It was in every game, and it should have been Arsenal should have been better. Granted, we were really good on set pieces.
Yes.
So that's been great, but we need to attack, and having Raya there at the back, it wasn't really. I don't know what happened there, but he should just kicked it out, and it makes you wonder, if he could really handle the pressure of being a goalkeeper on the top side, and in these moments. He gives up a silly mistake and a crucial part of the game, and Lee Dixon say, "Well, you just let them back in the game now," and they give up a penalty also at the end of the game. So, it's these moments that are frustrating as an Arsenal supporter because you want them in the league, but then things like this happen, and you start having doubts, and it's not the right doubts you want to have, and. If our Arteta, I said it on Gary's chat in the box on Saturday, will he start Ramsdale on Saturday? Because you can't have these mistakes during this run of games. So,
right.
It's just
you know what? In a few minutes, or I don't know if it was in the first half, Did you see when Erdegaard passed the ball to Kulusevski in the middle of the field? Yeah. So I think we this is how we play. This is how we play because we make even our captain has made a mistake. He passed it to the wrong team. It was I don't even know where our players were in that sense. He passed it right to them. They went down and went and attacked. They could have scored on that one. So I kind of feel like, but the other part that I want to say also is we take what the other team gives you. Guess what? Did we feel threatened by them? Not really. Not really. They had a lot of possession, but it didn't seem like much was going to come out of it.
Yeah, but
right, we kept them at bay. Not only that, but at halftime it's 3-0. So
Gary, why don't you play your style?
It
doesn't matter.
Tony. What are you talking about? That is our style. We can play any style we want, Tony. We're that
our
good.
style isn't giving a team 67% of a possession.
Tony, we were winning 3-0. Do you not understand how this works?
Well, what was the final score, Gary?
3-2.
The second half was different. Yes.
Yeah.
But also,
you know what? And you know what? Once again,
energy levels.
How many games have you watched in the last month where a team broke us down and just hurt us? How many times has that happened? Not many. Most of the time, what do? We make a mistake deep in our half because guess what? That's where we want to play, right?
But the style I prefer is before to back.
What?
No, but that's the style we play. You like it when
forward
it works.
Back.
When it doesn't work, this is what happens. Right?
Quarterback.
You know what? Also, you have to remember we're playing midweek games for how many weeks in a row?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Champions League.
We played, if I recall, something like 10 games in 21 days
in April. Yep.
Right. So, like at some, and he's not subbing. So, guess what?
Yeah.
The team come down to the end of that. This is your last big game. Guess what? They can't hurt us if we don't let them. We did let them in the second half, but we already had a 3-goal lead at that point.
Yeah. Alonso, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, we've all said in various ways. My own particular way is that Arsenal came into the game in rhythm. We hit them for 3 goals, and the energy levels tapped a little bit when Tottenham had 2 weeks off in the second half.
I mean, in my opinion, it seems like Tottenham were up for this game more than Arsenal was, and because of possession, right? And it was nervous at times because you didn't know if they were going to score. I'm grateful what we have in defensively with Gabriel and Saliba. Antonio Alves and Ben White, they're great. Our midfield, to me, got less physical at times because we weren't able to hold possession. And Tottenham played us great. They played Arsenal great to the point that they might have a game out of it. So it's a win. It's a win, and against an arch rival, and we should take it as such. But sometimes people are not going to be comfortable with that because we did it high for so long.
You know what it is? We're not comfortable. We're not comfortable because we know Man City are going to hold us to a high points finish. We need to hold ourselves to that as well. Colonel said so, and I kind of disagree with this, Colonel, myself. So a team that had 5 clear-cut opportunities and disallowed goal and scored 2, you didn't feel threatened by. I disagree, Gary. They had clear-cut opportunities. They had a disallowed goal, and they scored off of our mistakes. They profited off our mistakes. I felt threatened the last 10, 15 minutes of the game, but I'm going to let Gary reply to this because it is to Gary, right?
All I know is that they scored 2 goals, and we helped them with both.
Yes. Yes. Assisted.
We had Saka had a shot. You want to talk about the shots that they had? Saka had a shot saved really nicely by Bukayo.
Yes.
They had a shot go off the post. I mean, I bet you it's a wash. I mean, you could have had the same way they could have had a penalty for Trossard. They could have got a red card for Chicken Man. All right. So little things kind of even themselves out. I think so I think we had opportunities both ways.
Yeah.
And
but like Tom said,
like I told you,
Tottenham was better in every stat.
Right. It's like that saying: if my uncle had a pair of tits, he'd be my auntie.
Yeah. There was lots of ifs there, but like I said, at least the way I felt the game was going, they had a lot of possession, but it didn't seem like they were getting. They didn't.
It finished 3-2. They were the better team, Gary.
For the second half, they were the better team. Yes, Tony. In the second half, they were the better team.
I mean,
in the last 30 minutes, yes, they were better than us. For 60
if you
want
to go by possession, they probably shaded it on possession, but they're the home team, Tony, and they're gonna have their moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's our style of football. It's possession. It's us taking shots. We took 9 shots. We didn't
that's
play
not
our
true
football, right?
because we played another game, I think, prior to that, and we still won without having all possession. I'm telling you, we don't have to play the same way every time because guess what? It gets monotonous, right?
And that's the way. That's the way we have acquitted ourselves to be top of the league right now, by being able to be tactically flexible to win games.
Like I said, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I've seen all these 8 things saying, "Oh, it's a spectacular win." They're not a good fucking team, and we barely fucking won.
So because the Forest game was what? Come on, dude. Everybody, it's the end of the season. Nobody's running away from anybody.
Exactly,
right
Gary. Yes. There's going to be no easy wins. There's no easy wins at the end of the season. Gary's exactly right. And in the run-in, it's not going to be easy. Man City are going to have to play 4 very good games to win out. You know what I mean? Steven said we're second best on contested balls because of the difference in the club's energy levels. We spend more time making sure our positioning was as good as it could be. Definitely, I kind of agree with that. Seriously, Tony, why don't we play our style? How about we played 4 hard games while they rested and played none? Stop taking whatever your friend is affecting your judgment. Okay. Yes.
Like I said, everybody said it was going to be a tough schedule for us, and we don't have a deep bench like we would like, all right, in those situations.
Yeah.
We managed ourselves through it all, all right?
Yeah.
Managed ourselves through it all, got the wins we needed. Nobody's going to like the wins. Guess what? I don't care.
Rivals.
Wins, right?
Rivals don't like it, right?
Yeah. You can play different styles. Like we could come out this week against Wolves and just run rock shot on them because we've been rested. We've had extra. We've had only 1 game instead of 2 in a week, right? So.
Yeah. It's 6 days till Bournemouth. Colonel Ward, I'm also hating this notion we play better with Partey than to Jorginho. Ability on the ball is miles clear of a Partey. This was a Ballon d'Or winner. Rice is better playing defensive. I think we have 2 good players with Jorginho on Partey. You know,
they both give us different things.
Yeah.
And
are we behind? Are we behind? News coming out in the last 24 hours is Jorginho is going to get a new contract or an extension. Is that? I think we have bigger issues in other areas of the field, so I'm generally in favor of Jorginho continuing.
It's worlds of different with him there than Kai there or anybody else.
Yeah.
Gary's been wanting Partey. I agree with
I think Partey's the better player, but he's not available. So you go with what's available. I mean, I think we do better with a person like Partey, who's going to split the lines better.
Yes.
Rice isn't there yet in his game, and Jorginho is, but then he can't. I think when Partey's, we've seen it when Partey's healthy. We control the middle better.
He can't pass half as good as Jorginho.
I don't think
that's true, but go.
They give you different things, Tony. So, well, listen, we're not going to talk about Partey because we have a whole summer to talk about Partey. Alonso, let's get into a couple of contentious decisions. The penalty given to Tottenham, unfortunately, you have to say it is a penalty. Declan Rice conceded.
I didn't really see what happened there, but if you go back to the first one that they didn't call, yeah, so that was kind of iffy, I guess. So maybe the referee felt like it was a balance out, or he had to redeem himself by giving that penalty to Rice there. But at the end of the
day, if he went to VAR, who knows what would happen? He didn't go to VAR for the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the way it's so right. So going forward, maybe it's right decision. I didn't really see what happened, but I missed it. But it's a shame because maybe you say, oh, they deserved that goal eventually, but seeing how they had a lot of possession, but to give up I think that's what happened in the first goal. I think when Raya got to, she kicked it out, but the guy was right there, and boom, goal. So maybe a second goal was bound to happen. But to see that goal at that time was kind of not cool, I guess. I mean, he didn't need to do that, but
of course we could have done one at it as well and finish out even a 3-0 winner at the end, because maybe we don't concede the penalty if Raya doesn't give away that goal. We invite more pressure on top of ourselves. Gary, the Kulusevski incident with Trossard, I think it's one of those where if the referee gives it, VAR is going to back it up. And if the referee didn't give it, they're going to go with the on-field decision as well.
No, I think, I mean, I think he doesn't go down, so it doesn't look like it was that significant.
Yeah.
I mean, in one breath, it looks like he's able to pass the ball to Kulusevski. I think, not Kulusevski, he's able to pass the ball to whoever comes back the other way.
Madison, maybe.
Was it Madison? Yeah. Madison isn't able to control it, but it's one of those things. It's
not enough contact there, is there?
Because you got two players and the offensive player cuts in front of him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got position on him, and that's on the player, the defensive player, to stop. But if he stops, he probably scores. So it's one of those. It's an iffy one there.
Yeah, Lawrence.
But on the Rice incident, Rice never even sees Ben Davies when he tries to clear the ball.
Yeah,
it's not like he intentionally tried to kick him in the crown jewels.
Yeah,
but he's so late though.
But he got it.
He is so late. Yeah. If he kicks in front of him, you get it. He kicks.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's so late, and it's.
And you see,
you know what it is? I think he thought he had time.
Yeah, and you see Declan Rice. He's like, I know I did something here, and they're probably going to call it back. And Michael Oliver didn't see it.
Sense of urgency, and he clears that like no problem, right? He's in front of he's at the ball, and it's gone the other way because he did that earlier. We saw him clear it. We've seen him clear it early as well. So that was one of those things where he took just an extra second, and that's all the difference in that situation there.
Tony, what's your thoughts on the two penalty shouts?
I think they turned out all right.
Yeah. I'm generally okay with the way they went down. Now, Tony, I'll stay with you. The thing when I was in Ireland, there was Richard Keys, right? We know Richard Keys and Andy Gray and all those. They are trying to say that what Ben White is doing on set pieces is somehow illegal, Tony.
Oh no, I should have sent you guys the link, but it was like a video of all the fucking shit he does on corner kicks, and there are lots of red cards there, not just yellows. He gets by with way more than he should.
Oh, you too, Knight. You too, Blair.
I was going to
You
send
too,
it to
Blair.
you, Ray, because we've over these last 5 years or whatever it's been now, we talk about the dark arts.
Yes.
And he does the dark arts.
Yes. Yes.
But the refs and blow the whistle. They let too much stuff go back on there anyway. But what he does, knocking players, hitting them in the balls, like literally punching the guy in the nuts and he drops down. I mean,
fixing the gloves on Vicario. You know, you gotta love it a little bit as well. And
I like it, but it's dangerous. Dangerous territory where he goes with it.
So rival fans are not gonna, if they didn't like Ben White before, they're not gonna like him anymore once they see these kind of antics he gets up to on set pieces.
The shit housery.
But Ray, everything does.
To me, I think Ben White. I think he's been quite a player.
Go ahead, Lonzo. You're clear for takeoff.
I think Ben White has been quite a player for us. And as I call it, shithousery, right? It's been quite a pleasure to see because in the past we've been bullied a lot, and it's about time someone steps up and be that troublemaker, but does it in the right way. Whereas Granit Xhaka will get carted everywhere. So it's good to see Ben White stick up for his teammates and take a couple for his team, right? So, Ben White has just been a masterclass ever since we've had him, and I'm okay with him being a villain, but he's our villain, and we like him a lot. So, it's pretty different to see being a menace in the penalty box and all that, and giving fits. We kind of need that, to be honest with you, and it's been quite a sight to see.
Yeah, as Lawrence, as Tony said, and Alonso's alluded to, the dark arts, are present in Ben White.
Yeah, but Ray, every team has a player who does what Ben White does. It's just that when Ben White does it, it gets highlighted more than anyone else.
Yep.
I mean, are you telling me that? Oh God. I can't give an example, but I'm sure every other Richarlison, Haaland, Hoyland, McAllister. Every team has a player standing next to the goalkeeper to wind the goalkeeper up.
Yeah.
It's going to come to the point where they could have a rule where no player can be within 5 yards of the keeper.
Well, I don't think it's a foul. I don't think it's been illegal in any way to stand in front of the goalkeeper. What say you, Gary?
Yeah, I don't. If that's the case, then you know what? Then nobody can go into their penalty box, right?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a tap in anymore because you're not allowed in the penalty box anymore because you might get close to the goalkeeper.
6 yard. It'd be like hockey, right?
I think this all started though. Think about it. When they didn't call the penalties on the goalkeeper, the guy takes your head off, and they wouldn't call it.
Yeah.
Lately, they have been, but for years, nothing. Right?
Yeah.
Right. Nothing. It started this season, first game of the season. Onana goes through Wolves player, right?
Wolves player,
Nothing's called. And now at the end of the season, guess what? They're making those calls. I think that they let. I think it's it's the way they've officiated. Like at some point. They protected him so much that they just can fly through, right? And players have to do certain things because guess what? They can use their hands and they could go through you.
I remember a game.
There's got to be a happy medium between the two. I can't stand in front of the goalkeeper. What's the point?
Mm-hmm. But Gary, in the Man United Burnley game this past weekend, Onana did the same thing to a Burnley player. And the referee gave a penalty this time.
They've changed because it was getting that bad. How long? How many plays? From that first game of the season to where we are now. How many times officials didn't make that call?
Yeah.
Right? And now all of a sudden, right? now the goalkeepers, they need to protect them because players are getting in their way. Players are touching them. You know?
Yeah.
Right, but it goes both ways. It goes both ways.
I remember a few years ago at Stamford Bridge, Hector Bellerin getting concussion because the goalkeeper went right through him as well, and they had people like Alan Shearer defending that as a good old-fashioned English game. You know what I mean? What about Richarlison's physically assaulting Gabriel? That was intent to injure, an automatic red, yet nothing was given, and he throws himself to the ground when he realizes what he did. Alonso, these are Brazil teammates that don't have much love for each other.
Right, and you see that on the pitch whenever they play against each other every time, ever since Richarlison and Gabriel have been on the same pitch. They never touch each other, and it's really he's been like that ever since he's been at Watford and Everton, and so there's nothing new with him, causing trouble. And what Tottenham have seen him is beyond me. Not that I care, but he never really has had great sportsmanship in the past, wherever club he's been on. With that said, I think we were for a red card. Obviously, it wasn't given. And for Gabriel Magalhaes not to respond as far as being more aggressive and the aggressor is pretty nice to see. He could have done more, he could have done worse, but he didn't. And, at the end of the day, he has to do better by giving out cards at that moment, but he didn't, and it sucks because he should have been red carded there.
Yeah, I feel in these bigger games, referees are always going to try to, in inverted commas, manage the game and withhold to keep their cards in the pocket at least until late in the second half, so there's no danger of losing a player.
There's a play down the sidelines. I don't know if you saw that. Saka's going down, and the player takes him out.
Yeah.
The ball goes off of Saka, goes out, and it goes back the other way. No call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like all these things that made the game, make it seem like that team had chances. Also, they got away with just as many stuff as we did. So I think it goes. Yeah. Like I said, it was an even game in that sense. We were more. We got the goals because they're not good at certain things. That's not our fault. Right?
Yeah.
I thought what was interesting, I don't know if you heard it, on the commentary, John Champion and Lee Dixon were talking about Arsenal doing a Nottingham Forest and complaining about the VAR coming from Australia, like Ange Postecoglou. And they were sort of joking about it, saying that maybe we should file a complaint with PGMOL, like not what Nottingham Forest did the other week, that you've got an Australian managing one of the teams, and the VAR coming from Australia as well.
It was unjust. It was a joke.
Yeah. I think Jared Gillett being Australian might have been what they were talking about as well. Yeah. I didn't have that feed being in Ireland at the time. But Richarlison doing that to Gabriel, and I think you need your warriors when you step into someone else's home ground, a hostile away ground. You need your warriors to stand up, and Gabriel in that instance stood up to Richarlison and said, "You shall not pass." You know what I mean? And
it's weird because it almost sounded like, of course, Dixon was like, "Why did Gabriel do that?" kind of thing, Mm-hmm. I know he's not a homer, he's not an Arsenal fan and stuff like that, but
he doesn't show. Yeah, he doesn't.
Well, no, I don't think he's a fan at all. Like, it's like, dude, you used to play for this team.
He better be.
You sound like you are, You rather,
he's over time talking about his team and stuff.
He's being objective. He's trying to be ultimately
No, he goes
objective.
too far though, because he'll go the other way, and it'll like, hello.
Meanwhile,
like I told you, Saka got taken out and like no card or anything. You think they talk about it? No, not really.
Meanwhile, you've got Carragher and Neville, and they're supporting their teams to the hilt. You know what I mean?
Gary, pay attention to what he says pre-game, halftime, and after the game.
Why? I'm listening to him during the game when something's happening to my team.
Why should I?
He's like, I'm like, huh? Whatever.
If you listen to that, you will find out that he's a strong.
Like I said, during the game, he just assumed us not get any calls.
He works very hard to try to be unbiased. Let me just
and it goes too far sometimes.
Yes,
for me, anyways.
Does. Works very hard.
Because like on the other side here, I'm like, dude, you don't what?
All right, we're saving some of the good stuff for a little bit later, i.e. the 3 goals that we scored. One other thing to clear up, Lawrence, I'll go to you first. The offside goal from Tottenham, and I got a little nervous with this one. I'm not going to lie, but the longer I looked at it, the more I said to myself, there's the point where the Tottenham player takes the shot. There is that player, Van de Ven, I think, is offside already. So the ricochet to me doesn't come into play.
Yeah, Son was offside as well. If you look at that still.
Yeah.
He's like 10 yards offside.
Yeah.
But you've seen them decisions go the other way.
Yes.
So it was a bit disconcerting, but it is what it is. Thankfully, the VAR sided with us, so no complaints.
And Gary, that's it. I mean, some of the 50-50 decisions could have gone against us, but I think the officials on the day called the game pretty well.
No, yeah, like I said, I think it goes both ways. Goes both ways in terms of what we got and what they got. So I don't think it was a big. I don't think it was. Oh well, one team got more than the other team. I think it goes both ways. So yeah. I think it was fine the way it was officiated. Yeah, no complaints there. I think it didn't affect the game significantly one way or the other in my eyes.
Were you nervous that equalizer? Okay, we thought it was a legitimate goal, and then you look at it. Oh, he's offside, so there's a little bit of relief there, right?
That happened. That was the
first half.
That would have been their first goal. Oh, that equalizer. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It was really close. Luckily that's what they look at. Here's the thing, though. I'll say it every time. They're trying to perfect the game. I keep saying it. That's not. Come on. Come on. Like that. They're trying to make the game perfect, and it's like that's not what VAR was ever for. It's not to make the perfect call because
it is to catch offsides.
Nobody can make that perfect call.
I remember a game when we lost out by 1 point. Tony will remember this one. We were in 5th place. We missed out on the top 4 by 1 point. And it was a 1-1 draw with Tottenham, and it was a clear offside goal before VAR came in for Tottenham to get the equalizer. So I'm in favor of, if they can rule out an illegitimate goal as that was, I'm generally in favor of it.
There's the problem. There's the rule clear and obvious, and they don't follow that.
But it's a subjective game, Tony. So what's
clear and obvious means that guess what? They made this is so clear as day. No, when it's a toenail, when it's a butt hair, right? It's not clear. It's not clear and obvious that you made a mistake, right? Like if you didn't see somebody smack the ball down and then score. That's clear, and that might be a clear and evident, an obvious mistake that you didn't see, right? But now it's going to be computerized, right? It's not even it's going to happen really fast next.
I'm going to like this next season. Yeah, it should be much easier next season, Gary. Right?
It should happen faster. I know some people talk about how VAR is used overseas and in Europe and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it happens. They don't spend like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like if you have to spend 5 minutes, then it's not clear, right?
Yeah.
Right.
They're also talking about referees relaying their decision to the crowd, because the people inside the stadium, unlike us who are watching it on TV, don't know what the fuck is being said between VAR and the referee. So they're going to do it NFL style, that when they come to a decision, the referee is going to relay the decision to the crowd.
Yeah,
I don't like the fact that they have the audio going into the commentators' ears.
Right, and they're sanitizing.
Exactly. They're not telling you the things that would cause an uproar, right?
Yep.
Because so like I rather them just not even hear the audio at all, and just like we'll just wait for the results. Like, what's the point of giving them that information?
But they have no idea what they're reviewing. They need.
What do you mean they have no idea what they're reviewing? What are you talking about, Tony?
They can hear the conversation, Tony.
About? No, but Gary's saying they need a
their ears when they scored the goal. What do you think they were checking?
The commentators hear it.
You just said that they shouldn't hear it.
I don't.
That's what you said. But they need to know what's going on to be able to tell the fans.
They're not going to tell us everything, Tony.
They don't tell us verbatim. Yeah.
They're not going to tell us what's happening. Are you kidding? Like do you remember when we played?
They're there to tell us what they think
we played
they're
Newcastle, Tony? Did it sound like any information was coming back to us about what was being spoken? No, I don't remember any of that.
2 weeks later, it was 2 weeks, Gary. Later,
but then later on, guess what? Another game, they're telling you what's going on. They're like, "Oh, this is not going to be a goal," basically, right? So, like, they decide when to say it. And I'm like, no, I don't. No, don't. If you can't tell me every time, I don't want to know. I don't want you knowing.
It's not happening, Alonso. I'm sorry.
Wait, are you Knicks fan too? No, we didn't have no.
The game is tied, but they're 3-1 down, I think, right?
3-2.
Yeah.
3-2.
Yeah. That definitely, I agree with you, Gary, but I would be in favor of hearing the whole conversation. Bring it all out.
Well, they should. That information should be. We should hear all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And not like what all this clean stuff. No, look, you spent all this time talking about it. Let's hear what's going on. Like the coaches should know how they're being officiated, right?
Yeah. All right.
Then you understand the rules.
Yes, Lawrence.
Right.
Yep.
I don't know if you watched it. The West Ham Liverpool game. There was an incident where the West Ham goalkeeper dropped the ball, and Cody Gakpo ran in to knock it in the net.
Yeah.
And the referee halted play so that the West Ham keeper could get medical attention, even though he didn't signal for a free kick.
You know what? But if you know anything about officiating, it probably says it in there in the book, like it does in some others, that it's at the officials' game. They can make those types of judgment calls. Right, like you said, he probably should have blown the whistle, but he forgot to. But then he realized he didn't, and he stopped the game, like he wanted to.
But he did. Right? He did. It wasn't a free kick.
Yeah, it
wasn't a free kick.
But he stopped it for an injury, like you said, right? He can stop the game for an injury. He can stop it. He should. We always say, he should wait because guess what? You know what? But he can stop it if he wants to. A lot of times they let it go.
Ray was fuming because it stopped his Liverpool from winning the game.
Yeah, it might have
I don't know where any of you get this idea. Just because I'm knowledgeable about
the other red. We know you like the other red.
You talk about them all the time, Ray. So.
I'm not a plastic, so that's the one thing.
I don't know what that means. I just know that you like other colors of red, other shades of red. That's all. I don't know.
All right, Gary, we're going to talk about good stuff. Is there anything else we need to mention about the bad stuff about that North London derby?
No, we got the win, 3 points. We move on. Yeah.
Right. Tony, is there anything going to talk about in terms of the bad stuff? We'll talk about Arsenal's 3 goals now coming up.
Like I said, not playing our style. I don't like it. You should play your style. And like I said, my example of it is the Thunder is the youngest team ever to have a #1 seed for the conference. The average age is 23.6 years, and they play the same style no matter what 5 players are out there.
Hey, look, I think
they're using 11 players in a playoffs,
Tony,
which doesn't happen.
This is the modern game, Tony. You cannot play the same style of game every game of the season, or else you
can
found
play
out.
your style, Ray. Why
you
can't
need
you
to be
use your same?
Tactically flexible. You need to be.
I sort of remember the game. Was it last year where we won? I think it was 1-0.
Leeds.
And no, it wasn't Leeds. It was Leeds. It wasn't Leeds. And we won 1-0, and the other team barely had a sniff.
Leicester City.
Remember that game?
Yes.
It's us not playing our style that you talk about, but I enjoyed that game because guess what? They got nothing, and they liked it, and we never felt threatened at all in that game.
Yeah.
Right.
That was where their XG was 0, and we've had many teams this season that we've played. Their XG has been practically 0 as well. So that's improvement in terms of Arsenal moving forward. Now, first goal, Bukayo Saka's corner. Very similar to last season where Bukayo Saka on that right side forced an own goal. And Tomiyasu was in there for that corner kick, and Højbjerg is forced into a decision, makes the header, and it goes in. OG, Tony. 1-0 Arsenal.
Yep.
That's all you got to say about that? Dude, what is this?
It's what we should have been doing the whole year. We have all this hype.
Talk about the play. The man sat there like, yeah.
I gave you a layup, Tony.
He gave
you a layup.
He gave you a layup. You know what you did? You slapped it away like you were blocking it. He's like, dude, we're trying to score here.
Yeah.
Why are you blocking the pass?
On the doorstep.
Will we have the height rate? It's what should happen
Tony
the
buckets.
whole year.
Alonso, Tony buckets.
It's like when I finally started talking about how shitty we were at set pieces, we finally started doing them. Because we had all these,
this year?
We
had all these corners. Yes, pretty much the first entire half of the year, we were not scoring. We'd have 9 or 10.
What game are you watching, Tony? We've been scoring
We'd
goals
have
off
9
the
or 10
set all year.
corners, and we wouldn't get one of them in there. We'd have 9 or 10 headers.
Ever since the majority of his assists had come from corner kicks.
Man United, the third game in the season, fourth game in the season, Man United at home, Declan Rice scoring from a set-piece corner.
We were not scoring from headers, right?
Yes, we were.
No, we weren't.
Saliba?
All right, Saka forcing
Havertz.
OGs from the right side have been happening 3 years in a row. Yeah, Gary, it's been something that Bukayo Saka has been putting defenders on tenterhooks and making decisions that they don't necessarily make normally, Gary. You know?
Yes.
I know you're just doing that because Tony did that.
I thought this how it works, right, Tony?
Yeah.
We just
now leave Tony alone,
right?
Okay?
Yeah.
I like it. Tony loves it.
He's the Don. He's the star of the show. Come on.
Tony loves it. As you said, he's the star of the show. I'm just trying. I'm jealous.
The movement again for Ben White. We seem to set up on the back post, Gary, and confuse the defenders as we filter into the 6-yard area.
Got it set up pretty good now, right? It looked kind of weird in the beginning, and now it's like they don't know what to do. And next thing you know, boom, they put it into their own. Yeah, I don't think anybody liked Højbjerg like a lot of those the fans of that team weren't too impressed with Højbjerg starting the game, and they're gonna say that's why, because he does stuff like that. So yeah, but we'll take it,
Yeah, and afterwards, as a side note, Ange was asked about it, and he swatted that one away like a layup. He swatted that one away. That's not who we are, Tony. He said, we don't concentrate on set pieces. We don't defend, mate.
Yeah, he's got to stop saying that.
Yeah.
Like you lose a terrible game because of some decisions. That's just what we do.
Gary, could he get sacked? Could he get sacked in the summer?
He's got them playing. I think when they're healthy, they're okay. He's going to need depth.
Okay.
Right.
But look, he's got. They lost to Chelsea today. They've got Liverpool. They've got City, and they got Burnley.
I think they played up for us, and they cannot play up back-to-back games like that. I mean, it's another short week, right?
I'm gonna wash my mouth out later for saying this, but I was kind of hoping they would put a run together to give them a sniff of top four for when City come to visit them second last game of the season, but doesn't look like it's going to happen, Alonso. We cannot rely on Tottenham to do anything against City.
Yeah, and I still think United are our rival, our arch rival, and Arsenal should take it as such. Everton are Everton, and Bournemouth are actually playing pretty well themselves. So, listen, Tottenham probably played a rest game against Arsenal, and that's a derby game. I guess they don't consider Chelsea a rival. Liverpool are like you said, guys, Tottenham just ran on the gas, and we should have depend on them to beat, Liverpool and City. We should have beaten Villa. We should have beaten Newcastle.
Yeah.
Those games dropped at the beginning of the year, kind of came back and haunted us, haunted Arsenal. So, like, I was talking to a customer, and he's like, nowadays there's no room for error anymore because you've got to be champions. You got to play like champions, and that's being a good team or being a bad team is beating the lower table teams. So, it's out of our hands now, and they got to go out and just win out, basically.
Yeah, we hope not. There's still, if you're going 100 minutes per game, there's still 400 minutes for Man City to play, 300 minutes for Arsenal to play. You would think that anything could happen still. There might be a twist yet to come in this season. But yeah, Arsenal 1-0 up. We talked about the offside decision temporarily, Tottenham going 1-1. But and then there was the Kulusevski decision denied. But Gary, coming out of the Kulusevski challenge or the Trossard coming together, Arsenal break away and actually score up at the other end with Declan Rice, Saka finding Havertz, and they connect again on a long ball, a long crossfield ball. We could all see that from the camera angle, but the Tottenham players apparently didn't.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's poor defense on their part. Like you said, Saka starts it well back of where he ends up finally getting that first touch down the field, and you're like, so he's the one that starts it, gets the ball out, like you said, and then is able to run, and they don't close him down. They let him sit out there until the ball is passed, and it's too late at that point. One-on-one, he does what he does. He likes to get on the left and put it away. So, that's on them.
Yeah,
that's on them. The whistle wasn't blown, so they got to play. You got to play.
Yes.
But defensively, they had three players back there, and they still let it get away from them. So yeah, and that is something, right? I think we've been asking, looking for Saka to do those types of things. Yeah, and then he did it, right? So it is in there. I just think it was
perfect.
He's buying his time, right, for when he can make those certain runs and stuff like that. I think that comes with not having depth. These players, I believe, manage their time through games.
The thing that Gary, we see Saka try to set up like this many, many times. It doesn't always come off. But this was textbook. He actually
defense usually stops it. They usually walk over. He's the only player down the pitch at that point.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he's the only player who's making a run down the pitch. They've got 3 players, and they decide to let him keep all that space. I mean, he's got so much space on that side of the pitch, and there's 3 defenders back there.
Takes it into the box, feigns to the right a little bit, then chops the ball back onto his left foot. And the best goals are sometimes the ones that are just passed into the corner of the net. Goalkeeper had no chance for that one. Alonso, what were your thoughts on that breakaway goal? Kai Havertz again going deep. He was brilliant in this game. Kai Havertz as well. We got to shout him out a bit as well.
Yeah, I mean, I thought so too. I thought that Kai Havertz had playing from the other side of the pitch to get that ball into Bukayo Saka kind of is a testament to how he's gotten better game in, game out, and he's willing to he's willing to do the hard work as well, playing defensively and cutting back and whatever. And that was a great ball by Havertz to Saka. And Saka most of the time is going to know that with his left foot. Embedding it into the far left post. I mean, it kind of shows you that, I think getting the best like Kai Havertz and what he's able to do, and it's a good sign because before, in the beginning of the year, he wasn't doing that, or he was just staying on the other side in Arsenal, trying to score and trying to do a little bit too much, and. It all came back. It all come to him once he had the confidence and was able to check back and do all the little things right. And all it takes is positioning to me. And seeing that pass is pretty incredible too. And people don't talk about his assists as much as him scoring goals.
Yeah.
So he's really becoming a playmaker that we all needed.
Yeah, and we all wanted Havertz maybe to Florence. Are you with us?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? We could see Havertz lighting that up, and maybe wanted him to make that pass sooner and quicker. We thought he held on to it a little bit too long, but as Gary said, the defense didn't catch up to Saka. The first touch from Saka is perfect, and just a perfect goal from Bukayo Saka. And I think we saw the interview later. He's the first Englishman since Ian Wright to score both home and away against Tottenham.
Yeah, great goal. Great pass from Havertz. He took the pass well, Saka. Beat Ben Davies, which isn't difficult to do. I bet Tony could beat Ben Davies if he set his mind to it. And he, cut inside and put it away, Lovely job, Lee.
Yeah, 2-0. And then thoughts turned to are they going to go back and look at this foul against, what's his name, Kulusevski? Are they going to chalk the goal off? Who knows what's going to happen, Tony?
Yeah. You never know what they're going to go back and review. To me, that's one of the things that is obvious, clear and obvious stuff that they should be reviewing, but they didn't. So
controversial again, Tony, but we love that. Look, 2-0 up, Gary. We're in control, and I don't know what was that. 20-some minutes, 22 minutes, 23 minutes. We're 2-0 up. 25 minutes maybe.
27.
And then the goal comes close to halftime, right? The third goal.
Yeah, 38th minute.
The 38th minute.
Yeah.
And we've all seen the pictures of Declan Rice at the corner flag, being abused by the Tottenham fans, and of course Bukayo Saka getting a little bit of it on the first goal as well. The best way to talk to those fans is to shove it back in their face with a goal.
Yes. Yeah, they were poor, and you know what? That's teams probably like, all right, well, we're not gonna let this team beat us on corners, and that team forgot about that part of the game, right? And they got paid. They paid for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was you see the build up on that one, and they kind of just stopped guarding, and Havertz just gets a free run at a goalkeeper, and Ben White is doing
right
his
there.
thing.
Yeah.
Ben White is in front of the goalkeeper. He does step away, but by that time the goalkeeper's like balls in and net.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
No, I think it's perfect setup and all of that, and we did everything we needed to and got the goal. So yes.
Gary, by the second half, Tottenham had figured out what Arsenal were doing in set pieces in the second half, right?
Did we get that many in the second half?
Well, they started pushing Ben White out of the way. Like, you've done enough damage now, Ben White. You can go home at this point in time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Lawrence, Kai Havertz stepping up again. We were able to sing that song, the Waka Waka song.
Well, as you know, Ray, I'm Kai Havertz's biggest fan.
I know you you had to shave your beard off. You started shaving your beard off.
Yeah, I started it. Yeah, I take my hat off to him. The way he dispatched that pass was brilliant.
Yeah,
and he has been doing the business of late. I just hope it carries on. He's got his critics. I've been one of his biggest critics. I couldn't see why we went out and bought him at the beginning of the season. And he's proved me wrong, and I'll admit to it.
Yeah.
I can see now why Arteta bought him. Because he's the perfect, I wouldn't say he's the perfect number 9, but he's the best answer we've got to a number 9, because it looks like Jesus is on his way out.
Yeah.
Nketiah? Yeah, as I said, and Nketiah, hopefully. Just hope he carries on, and Arteta continues to bring out the best in him.
Yeah, Alonso, as Lawrence mentioned, Kai Havertz, he may not be the best number 9, but his numbers, he's putting up some very good numbers now to where we're starting to think, what are we going to do now in the forward line? You know what I mean? This coming summer, at least I am anyway. Do we stick with Kai Havertz? And that's maybe a bigger question, but go ahead.
I mean, thinking about Arteta is like he'll use Havertz to number 9 and number 8 as well. So it's just right now it's been working out for him so well so far this year, and he's produced. Like I said, he's not only scoring goals, he's also assisting as well, and I think that's kind of going unnoticed. And you're seeing Arteta getting the best out of him, and that's a credit to Arteta as well. And they may change plans by signing another striker, but at least we know that Kai Havertz can also play number 8. Now, will be just as effective? That's remains to be seen. Whether he can play number 8 on the constant level and contribute like he has been. But I'm not, as you know, I'm not so sold on Jesus. And Nketiah has also been a bust ever since he's signed that contract. Because if Nketiah were up to it, he has the tools, right? It's just he's not motivated, because why would he not be? Because he's on the high wages, just hanging out on the bench like and Ozil used to do. So it's a mess, but someone who's a striker should be able to hang on to that position as long as they can. And both Eddie Nketiah and Jesus have had opportunities to do so. But, right now, Kai Havertz is one that's not willing to give that up. So, kudos to him. And that leads me to believe that, Jesus and Nketiah will be sold this summer, and they should be.
Yeah, so we can upgrade in the forward department. Gary, BX Gunner says here, if he scores against United, he will have scored and assisted against all of our most hated rivals. So I had to think back, right? He assisted for the Man City goal. He held up the ball and laid it off for Martinelli. He assisted for the Saka goal against Liverpool. Obviously Tottenham here. So Kai Havertz is doing it against the top teams in the league as well.
Yep. Yeah, no, he's been. Yeah, he's got, and like I said, you could tell based on where he is now, where he was in the beginning of the season, you could tell how uncomfortable or not comfortable he was with his surroundings, because he's playing. He's got that dark art, some people will say, in him, right?
Yep.
The same way we complain about other teams, rivals complain about him, right? Him and Ben White, basically, they both have their way of getting under. Teams and fans, skin for sure. So yeah, no, did Arteta know he's going to be R9, or just he didn't know and he just ended up there? You know what I mean?
Good question, Gary. This is a good
for
question.
me, for 65, you need to know. You need to know. You can't be you can't be testing him out and stuff like that, because maybe you make a different decision depending on how you go. But I think Arteta trusted that certain players wouldn't get injured, and that was not going to happen.
Yeah, as Jose said, he's finally shed that Chelsea stench.
Yeah. It's funny talking about Chelsea. I just saw something. Both Declan Rice and Eddie Nketiah were released in the same year from Chelsea.
Yeah. You said the Jolof Rice thing, I think. And Declan Rice and Eddie Nketiah got into it last season when it was West Ham versus Arsenal as well. When we beat West Ham 3-1, they got into it right at the end of the game. Tony, yeah.
I haven't got any say here.
Of course,
this was not Arteta. This was Arteta being forced because Jesus was injured. Kai wasn't working at the 8. He kept putting him at the 8. It took the whole fucking season to learn. I mean, why does it take you 7 months to figure that out?
I mean, you have to find what's best for the player as well, and that does take time.
It doesn't take 7 months, Ray.
He wasn't I think
what position
he wasn't.
did Arteta play?
Think about when he first got comfortable, right? He first got comfortable, I believe, was in that for me that Newcastle game where I'm like, dude, this guy he's on the cusp of getting yellows and another yellow, right? Because he came out in that game and you're like, all right, is this him? Is this what we're gonna get from him from here on out? And it has been, right? He felt comfortable playing football again, and he likes to, like you said, get under people's skin. And since then, it's just been. I think he's been more comfortable in his game. But for me, Arteta usually is a manager who gets his players to feel comfortable, right, and confident and stuff like that. So I don't think maybe Arteta was still feeling his way through this whole situation, but like Tony said, I think he just locked up into it again. Like for me, I still feel like we need to get a 9.
Definitely a forward of some kind, right? Maybe
I think we need to get a center forward, somebody who plays in the middle, right?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would not. I think if Gabriel Jesus and Eddie Nketiah are leaving, we need to do something in that respect. We cannot. While Saka and Martinelli have been our mainstays for a couple of seasons now, we cannot rely on them for all of the goals or the majority of the goals that we're getting.
We have to buy a striker and a backup right winger. Ray, we need backup for.
Colonel Ward Tony, Colonel Word is asking what is the best month to watch a baseball game? I don't know if you're the best person to ask, but I'll start with you.
June usually. June is when the teams usually start clicking, even though they have like 3 months of preseason start in April, but it's usually about the June period.
Yeah, I don't know which one is Alonso, Gary, or Tony would be the baseball. Maybe
October is also a good time, right? So
I will say September.
Weather, yeah.
September when it gets colder, though. Isn't it harder to hit when it's colder, Alonso?
I'm trying to answer your question. Right, so I would say that August because that's when teams are trying to get together and playing well. I don't know about that June crap. It's August. Because they're fighting for.
You just want to be different. That's all, Alonso.
I always have been different, Gary.
Colonel, you're on your own.
Right, so August, September, really, or April, because the weather is nice in April. So
yeah, you don't want to go when it's too hot, dude.
Yeah.
Middle of summer sucks.
Yeah.
Too hot and sticky. Yeah.
By the way, lads, it's called rounders, not baseball.
Or cricket.
Yeah.
Again, you're stealing the game and modifying it, you know? American football used to be rugby, right?
Yeah.
Lawrence, you know?
No,
Yeah,
actually,
exactly.
no. Nope.
Actually, yes.
No, it used to not be. They used to play, it used to be like played between two towns, which would be about 20 miles apart. And they would have to drive the ball all the way through. That's what American football first was.
Drive the ball all the way through.
What are you talking about?
You would have to get the ball. You would go from a town 20 miles away. Imagine a team 20 miles away from you. Right, it'd almost be Philadelphia. So you would play between those two things and have to get the ball to
I don't know what he's
opposite
talking
team.
about.
Harry,
I was just gonna say you were talking about it's a switch gears on this thing.
Then? Could they use FedEx to deliver the ball?
No, that's the way they play.
Stage wagon.
You know that. Oh, maybe you didn't know that. There's no FedEx back in those days.
The U.S. Postal Service stage wagon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wells Fargo.
No, I was gonna say like about strikers. Some people are saying we might go young, and it's like Michael Berra for this Cheeto Abby Martin kid.
Chibo, yeah.
Cheeto. What Arsenal is hoping for.
We just seen the player we needed about 3 weeks ago when we played him.
I know. Watkins,
Who's that?
right?
Who's that?
Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, Ollie Watkins. Yeah, he's
right.
Yeah. So.
Right, Tony.
I mean, you know he scores in the Premier League. Go for him.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be a matter of are they even selling a player?
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
Like Isak and like if Aston Villa finishes top 4, they're not selling anybody. Like if Newcastle, what?
Correct.
Why would they sell him?
I agree.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like we have to spend ton. If we're gonna, if we could get him for 80, yeah, we'd do it.
So is Isak the more attainable one then, Gary, from the Premier League?
I think they're both the same. Like
with their financial
because people are thinking Bruno Gomes is going to go, right? And if he goes, are they going to give up 2 of the? No. If he goes, are they going to give up 2 of their top players in the same window?
Understood. Yeah.
But I mean, I would take Bruno Gomes. If you're sitting there liking Ben White and his antics, then you want Bruno Gomes. He's solid. He's technically sound in the middle, and you know what? You rather have him on your side.
Yeah, but we don't want somebody that will disrupt the project. Disrupt the project. You could have signed him 2 fucking years ago.
He's like Guendouzi.
So wait,
you could have signed him for $32 million. Now it should be closer to $90 million.
The latest news says that we didn't want him. Yeah. Situation, Tony.
when You said Gamaras. I knew we were going this way, Gary.
Yeah, Tony loves the guy.
He loves him. He loves him.
What about Ivan Toney?
Listen,
Who?
Ivan Toney, I was thinking
Why
about
bring
that,
him
but
up? Come on.
I think not anymore.
Why not, Ray?
I was
Ray.
sweet on him a few months ago, Tony. Yeah.
Ray, we need 2 strikers. Well, we don't need 1 striker.
We're not buying Tony, Isak, and Watkins 2 out of 3. We're not buying that. So
we're getting maybe a midfielder in Martin Zubimendi, and we're maybe getting a forward as well of some sort.
And the left back for like the 5th fucking straight year. Let's go buy another left.
What about Joshua Zirkzee?
Jackson, who?
Zirkzee.
No, there's a striker from Bologna.
Yeah.
His name is Joshua Zirkzee.
Somebody mentioned that earlier here as well.
He's in. He's like from Coventry City, right? Oh, Zirkzee. I thought you said
he's being strongly linked. BX Gunner, 22 years old, a Dutch striker, 6'4". Not bad. Not a bad shout. Gikaris is another one as well. Colonel said, if you sit there with Newcastle and give them Jesus and Zinni, Tony's going to deliver them together. And swap for Tony's cab will take them.
Tony's going to get up and walk over and
he looks like a cabbie, doesn't he, Lawrence? He looks like a cabbie.
Yeah.
I
think he's looking for his clients.
Isak and Bruno, would you not try that? I think that would be I think we would do well out of that exchange. Jesus Zinchenko for Isak by himself, even.
I don't think he said either.
There's the cabbie blinders. Tony blinders. Rashford. I don't think I want to see Rashford walking around on the pitch next season for Arsenal.
Well,
right?
You know what? The same attitude problems people said, Trossard had, maybe. Okay. Right? Okay. So, you know what?
Do you think Rashford would cook with us, Gary?
If he plays like he has in the past, yeah.
And what Arteta...
But the thing is he a center forward, right? That's the question.
Yeah. He comes off the left more, but he could go through the middle. You know what I mean?
But he's not a striker, right?
No.
So that doesn't help us.
Tony Blinders.
Yes.
Rashford.
No.
Alonso, Rashford.
You're supposed to say yes. You're supposed to say yes because that's usually how this thing goes. Tony said no, so you can't say no.
If they use him properly, then yes.
I got him. Now he's gonna.
We don't need a striker, says Lola. Welcome to the show, Lola.
Well played, Gary. Well played.
Striker, Gary. What's up, fellas?
What do you mean we don't need a striker?
Alonso, was that a yes or a no, Alonso?
Yes.
Yes for Rashford. Because you had to oppose Tony, right?
Every time.
Okay.
I think somebody had a little bit too much herb to say.
But no one Tony. You probably have him at a center back, playing at the back three. So.
Lawrence Rashford, yes or no for Arsenal? Yeah.
I'm sitting on the fence. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know whether it be a good thing or not. Is he going to turn out to be like Danny Welbeck or Mikel Silvestre?
Well, Stan likes Danny Welbeck and what he did for us. Mikel Silvestre, probably not. You know what I mean? Just Stan.
It's one of those ones where you can't decide. I'm sorry, I don't know, because his demeanour on the pitch this season makes me question whether he'd be an asset to us or not.
Okay, so I think you're leaning toward no, right?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, Colonel Ward said, "Dark horse if Ten Hag magically stays. What about Jadon Sancho? He's cooking at the moment." Tony,
I don't think
Gary?
they can. I don't think they can keep him. Not because he's not a good player. I just think
Sancho.
it kind of happened on their watch, kind of thing. And I think I just kind of feel like you gotta move on. And the fact that he's playing well, you should get money for him. So I kind of feel like they're gonna have to they need to let him go, not because he's not a good player, unless they change them. Even if they change the manager, I think it's the look, right? It's perception and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's probably time for him to move on.
Could be like Viv Anderson, and Viv Anderson was a good. Lawrence, you can probably speak a little bit more. Viv Anderson, I came in at Arsenal when he had just joined when I started following Arsenal, and he was a good for Arsenal, right?
I met him after we won the Littlewoods Cup against Liverpool.
Yeah,
me and my mate snuck into Islington Town Hall when they paraded the trophy. And it was at that time the rumours were starting that he was going to go to Man United. And I asked him about it, and he said no, he loved Arsenal. He said he didn't want to leave. And the next thing, he joins Alex Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a bit of a sour taste in my mouth over him. I mean, he is a good player, but he was a good player. Sorry, but. I don't know. I don't want any mercenaries, I mean,
what about the Robin van Persie feel about this?
Yeah.
If we took Rashford and we go and win the league, and Manchester United fans have to watch like we did, we had to watch Robin van Persie score week after week for Manchester United. That was tough, wasn't it, Gary?
But it's a different though, because he's coming like I don't remember if he just left after he had a good year or not, but he's definitely not it hasn't been as a season in turmoil like it has been for Rashford right now. So it's another one of those things, like you're taking another project like Havertz, right, from a big rival, and whether or not if he's ready to follow the rules of Arteta's rules and stuff like that.
I think that's a very big thing that you just keyed in on, is the attitude of the player, and if he's willing to work hard, because Arteta demands that the players work hard. We got 10 outfield players all working in unison, and our press is probably the best in the league. I don't know. I haven't got the stats behind me, but Odegaard orchestrates that press really well, and you see Arteta keenly watching the players during the press, and we've come a long way, let's say in 2 or 3 seasons, in terms of how we're pressing players and teams from the front, just to wrap up this North London derby,
but is that a good thing, Ray? Because we're fucking all wore out now.
Is it a good thing that we've gotten the amount of points that we have right now?
No, that we've pressed that much, Ray.
Well, if we didn't press that much, we probably wouldn't be sitting on 80 points right now. Is that fair to say?
We would probably still be in second place, Ray.
Yeah, but we wouldn't be a point ahead of Man City right now, albeit with a game extra played. I don't know. It's very hard to tell, Tony, what how it would go. Like if Rashford played instead of Raya for all of these games, we don't know how it would have gone. Not Rashford, Ramsdale played instead of Raya. Would we have 80 points? Who knows? You know what I mean? Our defense has been so good that you probably could have played Ramsdale for the whole season, and we'd still be here on 80 points. Who knows? Lola said,
You seen what happened, Ray? He made all those saves. Ramsdale won that for us in penalties. There's no way he's blocking 3 shots.
Lolo said smart pressing, Tony, not constant haphazard pressing. So, we're doing it in the correct way. Of course, when you are coming to the end of the season, you're bound to feel tired, but Arsenal can't afford to feel tired. It's about recuperating and recovering after each and every game.
Do we need to be playing Saka in the League Cup, right?
No. That was 3 months ago, 4 months ago, 5 months ago, maybe.
Which was our earliest exit out of
I know, but
England.
Yep,
earliest exit out of a domestic cup.
Well, we didn't have the squad. We did not have the squad. We don't have the squad to sustain.
How many fucking players? How much money do you want to spend? Right?
We don't have 8 or 9 players, Tony.
We don't have the squad depth to sustain cup runs.
You see who plays, right? Arteta shows you exactly how deep his squad is. Not deep at all.
Yeah.
You would have to put no. Vieira, no. Nelson, no.
Yeah.
Cedric, no. It goes on. Vieira,
no. What has Nelson done wrong when he comes out and plays?
Whatever Arteta doesn't, he's not doing what Arteta wants to do, or else he would play.
See, Tony, when you're putting the side out in the League Cup, you're not playing your best 11, and I don't think Saka. Can you tell me what game Saka played in the League Cup?
He played all the games because Arteta was playing.
He didn't start all the games.
I remember Sago Jr. played in his position at Brentford.
He played in every game, Ray, because
he didn't play in every league.
Play the entire starting 10.
You checking that,
minus
Gary?
Goalkeeper.
Check that Brentford game in the League Cup earlier in the season.
Let's see. What game
Nelson scored. Nelson scored. We won 1-0. But I know Sago Jr. played.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Nelson is so overhyped. And from what I've seen from him, apart from that goal against Bournemouth last year, what has he really done for us?
Well,
absolutely nothing.
He hasn't even had a chance, and I think, like I say all the time, that is by design. That's Arteta.
He's better than Nketiah.
Listen,
I'm better than Nketiah.
Lawrence, if you look at Nelson's stats from last season, they're actually not bad. He scored about 3 or 4 goals, and he assisted a couple or 3 times as well in a limited amount of games.
But he's another one that I don't see is going to break through into the first team squad. I'll be surprised if he's still a first team member next season.
Yeah, I agree.
He's had enough opportunities.
We need squad players, though. We need the depth. Everybody keeps bitching about the depth, but you don't want to give a guy that does a good effort every time he's out there.
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to
think different, right?
We're not going to fault his effort, Tony. Is his quality where we're at? We're in a position where we could say Zinchenko and Jesus, thank you very much, but we've gone beyond your abilities in this team. Our team is better than your abilities. We have players who can do better than you in your positions. Lolo said, I take a punt on Rashford. His dip in quality is all due to his surroundings. Arteta could rebuild him. Gary doesn't like that. But Kai would, with a higher ceiling. I don't think he'd be a project if he's like a Trossard, Gary. You know what I mean?
Right. The thing is, he isn't like a Trossard. He isn't coming in off of a good season and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was just looking at it. Saka played 90 minutes. He started against Liverpool in the FA Cup. We know how that went, and he.
Right. How about the League Cup?
He didn't play in the third round against Brentford. He came in late.
There you go.
Came in late against West Ham.
There you go. He didn't play in the third round against Brentford, Tony.
He played in FA. He's played in games he shouldn't be playing.
Said he's the only club with true
He's
depth.
played 115 minutes of extra football, according to
Should
you.
he be playing that much, Ray?
No, you're right. He shouldn't be playing that much. And when we get,
we don't have the depth, so obviously he has to play.
Yeah, and I've said that earlier. We cannot continue to rely on Saka and Martinelli. We need another forward that we can rotate and bring in.
You need more than one, Ray. You really need two strikers, and you need a winger.
Okay, that's a lot. Tiger and Gunnar said, I don't want a 3-2 repeat of the Bournemouth game. I think we have such control in games now. I hope I'm right in saying this, that we won't have another 3-2 game on Saturday. And it's the early game as well. It's the first game out of the gate.
Early morning for us over here.
Yeah.
Really early for
really early for Alonso.
And even earlier for
Stan.
For Lawrence.
For Lawrence too, yeah.
Well, Lawrence probably will just, when he gets in from the club, just turn the game on, right?
Yeah.
And instead of just going to sleep like he usually do, just like,
yeah,
you know what?
Exactly.
I just watch the
not on that.
3 a.m. Go get yourself your fast food and straight into the game at half 4 in the morning, right?
Can I tell you something, Ray? I stayed up all night last night to watch the riots at UCLA on telly.
Was that entertaining?
I was up all night. Oh yeah. Very. Just like.
All right. So that's the North London Derby.
Before we move on, Ray, we do not know what Lawrence. We do not know what Lawrence's dinner was. Can Lawrence please tell us?
Okay.
What
you want me to, I'll cook you some, Tony. I had fish fingers. If anyone in England knows what fish fingers are, tell Tony what they are. Fish fingers.
Cod billets. Breaded.
Yeah, fish fingers.
They're basically fish sticks,
mashed potato.
Yeah.
Mashed potatoes and mixed veg.
There you go.
Very nice. Very nice. I like fish fingers as well. Tiger and Gunnar says 8 p.m. over here in Australia. That's the game, right? That's not a bad time. 8 p.m. in the evening to catch a game as well. Okay. Tony, can we move on?
Yeah, we found out what he had for dinner. So
fish finger sandwich is the best, says Colonel as well. All right, Gary, we're going to talk of what do you think about this cap that's coming in?
Oh, it's going American, huh?
Yeah, it sounds like it, right?
Yeah.
But is it going?
Well, I think it's because they don't know they can't figure out their own. They don't want to back their own rules, you know. So they're not trying to make it a little bit easier, so they don't have to back their own rules
or police them,
or stand behind the rules that they set. I don't know if this means more money for teams or what it means, because it's teams that were living off of whatever monies they got now can spend 2-3 times as much, right? So
yeah, I think up to 4 or 5 actually.
So does that help them or not? I'm not even sure. So
well, I heard a stat that Leeds United were the lowest. They were the team with the lowest revenue from TV last season, and they got 113 million.
Yeah, what's weird about that is Leeds is always on TV, so obviously they're a draw. 113 sounds like a lot, right? But then
113, so 4 times that is over at least.
If you have that money, then I don't even know how that. Where does that mean? Monies that the owner can just put in, or is that still tied to the business? You know.
Yeah.
So
Is this going to work? Man City, Man United, and Aston Villa.
They should clear out all the mess that they have right now, and then it's weird. They still have 115 charges or 14 charges. They're supposed to be resolving.
Yeah.
How about you fix that and then
Well,
You know,
is this a mechanism to get all of that swept under the carpet?
what 114 charges, right?
Yeah.
115, yeah.
115.
115.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear that? Everton could face a further 9-point deduction for going into administration.
9 points. They really want to relegate Everton, don't they?
Yeah, they really want to go down to the Championship, don't they?
Yeah. So three potential sets of charges, and still nothing on the team with the most. So it's like
when I was in Ireland,
either drop it or just do your job.
Well, when I was in Ireland, there was a very vague terminology on this, that the 115 charges would be dealt with very soon, was the headline. Dealt with soon. You know
soon
what I mean?
Could be what in the next decade, century, millennia. What is it?
Yeah. It's like when you're waiting for your dinner, and you're told it's coming very soon.
What does the story say, Ray?
Waiting for the fish fingers to crispen up, So you're hungry, you know what I mean? You're hungry, and you want to know when your food's going to be ready, Tony?
I said, what did the story say? You had the headline, but what did the story say?
I didn't listen to the story. It was a headline on the television that it would be dealt with very soon. 115 charges against Man City. We're waiting. The records, the documentation's all there. But they don't want to go. It's like too much homework to get through. It's like too much studying for an exam to get through. It's easier to take care of Nottingham Forest and take care of Everton, and give them.
I reckon that if they are found guilty, they're gonna quit the Premier League and join up the European Super League. That's what I reckon will happen.
Yeah.
And they'll stick two things.
Pep is on record as saying that he will quit as well. He will leave City. One other person who's going to leave us tonight is Gary. So Gary's got to go, and I will give him the second to say goodbye.
All right, everyone. Thanks for having me. Ray, Tony, Lawrence, Alonzo, everybody in the chat. Have a good night. See you guys.
All right, Gary. Thank you. Gary, thank you for taking the shows as well while I was away.
No problem. All right, everyone. See you.
Enjoy your Peloton.
Yes, sir.
Alonzo, what do you think about this new salary cap almost? I mean, it's going to include wages as well.
Yeah, and we all know that City, United, and Villa have voted against it.
Yep.
And which is interesting that, City are against it because they want to be on top every single time. And, it kind of shows you what kind of, ownership they have. And, Pep, wants to win trophies, and he's used to that. So anything that will, rid them of that, they're against. And I think it'll work perfectly fine. It just will take a while to get adjusted, but it works here in the States for the most part. And, I think it just gives them an even fair ground to where everyone can compete for trophies, not just the City, not just Liverpool's. Though, like I said before, at some point, the FA do its due diligence and finally, put City where they belong and get them points deducted like they do Everton and Forest. And so, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm confident it'll work out and it'll sort itself out. But until City get caught, it's up to the FA to clean it up.
Yeah, up to the authorities to clear it up. And I know Gary has been on a record as saying is the FA Premier League have opened the gate to allow City to do this. Their transgressions have been over a decade. Got to go, guys. Have an early day for work tomorrow. Great show. Thanks for your time, Stephen. Thanks for being here. Yeah, we put our time into this thing to talk Arsenal, and we appreciate you coming to talk to be here as well and hanging out with us in the time. Tony, the FA have opened this, and now, as Alonso said, they've got to clean it up. And the transgressions have been over 10 years. Look at Newcastle. Newcastle are the richest club in the Premier League right now, but they cannot seem to be able to generate the funds legally required to make their team be one of the best in the land. So if you, albeit Newcastle a couple of seasons, it took Man City a few seasons to get going, but Newcastle are doing it legally by the looks of it from the outset. And that's really where City should be right now, 5th or 6th, if they were doing it legally, in my opinion.
And they wouldn't be that far down there, right? Come on.
Well, they wouldn't be winning 4 in a row, potentially. Right?
Yeah, but you drop financial fair play. You come up with this other system where we've been under watch for violations. We couldn't spend too much in the summer. So it's they have to change what it is. What Man City's done is really small infractions. Really, it's nothing huge and major.
115 small ones.
Charges.
Yeah.
115 charges. And it's nothing major. You serious?
Look at what they did. Look what they're for.
What did they do? What are they for?
It doesn't matter. They've been.
It's the way they registered players, is what it is.
A wrong is a wrong, and they are paying exorbitant wages to these players, and they are getting their funds, and they're siphoning funds. They are cleaning their money. They're washing their money.
We weren't paying exorbitant funds to players, Ray.
But we've been doing it sustainably and within the constraints. There's no charges. There's no charges that we know about against Arsenal.
Were we with Aubameyang and Ozil?
Aubameyang.
700,000.
Aubameyang. Yes.
Yeah. Let's bitch about the guy. The stumbling guy can bitch about the guy pronouncing something wrong. Okay, Alonso.
Yeah. Do you think Aubameyang? It's Aubameyang, not a boomerang. Tony, do you think the wage cap will have an effect? Do you think the wage cap will have an effect on the club's earning potential? I.e., they won't be able to attract the top talents from around the world.
I have no idea. I have no idea the way it's to be set up, right?
Yeah.
If it's set up like the NBA, it's based off of revenue. And off that, you have a minimum. You have a minimum that you can spend. Then you have a salary cap.
Yeah.
If you go over a salary cap, then you're heavily fined.
Yeah.
So
that's football, Tony.
That's basketball. Football is not set up that way.
Yeah, it has a luxury tax.
Wow.
It has a luxury tax, but it's not based off every year. You wait until the end of a season.
Isn't that baseball?
Then the NBA, they sit there and they go through the total revenue. Then they set the salary cap for the next season and the bottom cap, the minimum you have to spend. It's set up every year. NFL is not set up that way.
It's baseball, right? Is it baseball?
None of them set up that way, except for NBA.
So
that's why the managers make a ton, the players make a ton. They're all happy. They move on.
Right, and until these 115 charges are enforced, I think these clubs like Man City, they'll want to carry on. They clearly want to carry on as they are right now. Aston Villa will have ambitions to be one of the better clubs in the league. They want to continue, and Manchester United have the revenue to be able to buy the best players for the biggest money as well, Tony. And I'll switch back to there. You like that one?
Yeah, but aren't all those, Ray? Why they're changing this is because all the oil money, they shouldn't have ever let Newcastle in.
Yeah.
Their ownership is 80% of a Premier League's wealth. Should that happen, Ray?
No, it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't be. This is maybe why they're trying to introduce this cap as well. But I also got to ask you, if they're
did with the way it's set up now. That's why Newcastle and Arsenal had to watch their spending.
If Newcastle are the richest club in the Premier League, why are they not at the top right now?
Because it's a way the salary cap set, or not a salary cap, but it's whatever. It's not fair play. It's whatever they move to. Whatever they move to.
Sustainability rules.
Okay. Yeah. FSP then, or whatever it is. Profit
PSR.
It's PSR. Because of that. Yeah. I mean, last year they finished fourth. They were ahead of schedule.
Is it fair to say Newcastle have been doing it the right way and Man City have not, and therefore you see the difference in the two clubs now?
Yeah, I mean that they were doing it the right way last year when they finished fourth.
And you also,
I assume they're probably doing it right, finishing
right. And you also have
whatever
Pep.
Though.
You know, you can't underestimate the fact that we have Pep, and Pep is making the right decisions and bringing the right players and rotating the right players.
That's what I'm saying. If you change the rules, it's Pep still coaching. He's done it in multiple leagues, multiple competitions.
And that is what we're up against. Any other league, Arsenal would be 5 points ahead right now in the league. Despite all of that, Tony, we have won the last 3 games against Wolverhampton Wanderers, Chelsea, where Kai Havertz and Odegaard's pass for Kai Havertz in that Chelsea game was just sublime. Left-footed pass, an inside left position. Kai Havertz threw against Chelsea, scored 88.88% of 90 points. The maximum we can get right now is 89, so we are not going to hit 100%, but we need to get so close.
Those L's came at the wrong time there on your chart there.
Yeah. Right there around Christmas time, we had a few, right?
I'm talking about the ones just few weeks ago that we lost.
The one against Aston Villa. But is that what we really, if we do slip up, are we going to look back at Aston Villa, or are we going to look back at West Ham or Fulham or Newcastle or Aston Villa? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you have to look at all of them. People do the easy thing, and they look at, this team's low on the table. You should have beat them.
Right. Couple other things we're going to sign off. I think will we stay as long as the game goes, Alonso? Or will you want to get out a little bit quick, right? Because
it's up to you, man. It's your show, dude.
It's 4 points now, is it? Difference?
Yeah. Well, it'd be 3 points and actually it's just free throw shot, but
okay. Well, anything can happen, right? Actually, it's 3-2. We're 3-2 down in the game, and so we did win a game. The Phillies did. Okay, so final thing, Lawrence, we're about to surpass. We're about to surpass last season's points tally in the last 3 games. So it was really, for me, it was last season. We really lost the league in the last 3 games.
You
know.
Right,
where we lost to Brighton, we lost to Nottingham Forest, and then we beat Wolves, right, on the last day of the season. Last year, we had 81 points with 3 games to go. This year, we've got 80 right now. So the difference between the 2 seasons is last season we shot out of a cannon, pun intended, I suppose. We shot out of a cannon really fast and then slowed down around about April. Had those 3 draws. This season, we started a little bit slower, but now since in 2024, we've won every game but 1. So we put ourselves into this position now again, and we're about to cross paths again where we were last season, and hopefully go beyond our final points tally from last season as well. Tiger and Goodison, we dipped form at Christmas time, but what I'm really saying here, Lawrence, is the last 3 games are going to be the difference in our season.
Exactly.
Year.
We've got, we cannot determine what's going to happen to Man City. We've got to focus on ourselves.
Yeah.
And go out and win these 3 games.
Yeah.
Now, it could all come down to the last game of the season, the way it's going. It could come down to goal difference. That's my biggest concern. Because if Man City whack one of their remaining opponents by 5 goals or something, that's going to bring their goal difference up to what our goal difference is. And this is what I've been harping about, where we took our foot off the pedal when we were playing Sheffield United, Burnley and West Ham, where we scored a glutton of goals, but it could have been even more goals had we gone all out.
Yeah.
So, as I said, that's my main concern. It could come down to goal difference at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah. And I thought you were going to mention Luton Town because you had done that in previous as well.
Yeah. 2 goals to be happy winning by 2 goals, while City 5 past them.
Yeah.
This could come back and bite us big time. I hope it doesn't come down to that.
Yeah, with 4 games to go for City and for it to work for Arsenal, we need them to draw one of those games. Now, obviously, if you draw, you're not going to get your goal difference any way, shape, or form. But in the other 3 games, they could potentially do what you talk about, win 4 or 5. I think City are trying to be careful and score the goals they need just to win games. Right now, Pep is thinking, just wait, keep winning your games. But Arsenal have to, Tony, Arsenal have to keep the pressure on City. And we can only do that by winning our own games.
Yeah, but that was the case when we had it in our own hands. We needed to win games, didn't do that. So now it's more up to City slipping than
absolutely
us putting the pressure on them.
But Tony, if we put the pressure on them, we can make them slip up. Potentially.
You think Pep doesn't know how to think and plan these things out, right?
I'm very aware that Liverpool have been doing this for a number of seasons now and have not been able to crack Man City and put them under the pressure. But for the one season, the only time you can really beat City is when you go out and lead from the front, which is what Liverpool did one season.
Every team that's been ahead of Christmas has won, except for Liverpool 3 times, us last year, and probably again this year.
Okay, so not every team, but I take what you mean. Yeah. Okay, so it starts with Bournemouth, Tony, and I think Lawrence and I were talking about that with Gary before you joined, that this could be a potential banana skin. We need to be careful and take care of our business.
Yeah, Arteta has to get the lineup right. He can't be lazy and put Jesus or Zinchenko back in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you.
Which can cost us a game.
Yeah.
I mean, we would have walked away with the league if he was smart enough to say, "Oh, Zinchenko doesn't work, Jesus doesn't work," but instead he went with him until
Yeah.
Jesus got injured.
Yeah.
If Jesus didn't get injured, we would have lost by at least 12 points.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Alonso, I'm going to let you go as well. The game is not going well for you, so you're probably not in the mood to say anything to finish out the show. Because I know that feeling. I know that feeling when you're watching your team and they're not pushing through.
Well, whatever. I'm fine.
All right. What have you got to say in your final word, Alonso?
Yeah, I mean, basically just went out. I mean, don't stop. Don't stop what's working for you. I think we have a good team here. I think, that compared to last year, we had injuries to key players. Last year, Jesus' injury, we did fine without. It's just defensively, we weren't able to pick up mistakes. We had City very late in the season, and that kind of hurt us a little bit. But so far, besides losing to Villa, West Ham, Newcastle, those are the other team we lost to, and all the draws, we've done all right. And it's now down to whether or not City lose points or drop points, and Arsenal just winning out. United are a hard team at home. Everton, there's Everton and Bournemouth. Bournemouth have always given us a hard time. They've hit us really well sometimes, and it depends on how Arteta set up. Though I believe in his team, I believe in Arteta. Right, I can't do mistakes like he did against Tottenham. So I think we can win out.
Yeah, we have to win out. And when Arsenal play Bournemouth on Saturday, first game out, we have to be able to put 3 points on the board with the goal difference that Lawrence is talking about, and put the pressure on City to play Wolves and beat Wolves if they have to. Well, then go to the next weekend where Manchester United will host Arsenal, and we got to go to Old Trafford and win. And that we'll have to follow Man City, who will be playing Fulham. So hopefully we can put some pressure on City to beat Fulham. But maybe that's where I'm most hopeful of the points being dropped at Fulham by City. Or if it goes to the last day of the season, you never know what can happen in the last day of the season. Last year, 2 years ago, Man City were 2-0 down, and Zinchenko came on and turned the game around for them against Aston Villa. But Lawrence, I'll give you some words, and then Tony will take us out of here.
Yeah, well, we're kind of up to the tail end of the season.
Yeah,
we've got to stay focused. As I said, Saturday is not going to be easy, just because we're playing an informed Bournemouth team. We've just got to focus on that game only now, and I hope that we get another 3 points.
Yeah, definitely playing at home. There is a little bit more pressure on us playing at home, but I think we'll definitely beat Everton on the last day of the season. If you had told me if you had told me at the beginning of the season we could go to Old Trafford and win, we could win the league if we go to Old Trafford and win there, I would have taken that at the start of the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's what's worrying as well. We don't know what Man United team is going to show up next week.
Hopefully, the one that played Burnley recently and
they
look like I'm really hoping they're on the beaches a little bit and they're worried about their FA Cup final suits. You know what I mean? Hopefully they can take the game to Man City as well, and they not concede in the first minute. But Tony, you've got the final words. Take us out of here, Tony.
If we focused on the now, we wouldn't be in this position that we are because everything was in our hands. Arteta's stubborn. Guess what happened? Jesus and Chinko, they're healthy to play again. They go straight back into the team when Kivior did nothing wrong. I still say if you go back to last year, you play Kivior instead of Rob Holding, we would have won the league. To me, he's missed he's made the wrong decisions. Kai did not work out of 8. A blind guy could have seen that, but he's kept persistent with him. He's finally, for some reason, noticed that Jesus doesn't work up there up front. Martinelli is injured, so they're getting Trossard. Trossard's always a goal-threatening deal, so the defenders are to watch him. They're a clinical guy. So it leaves Kai where he has more chances. But plus, he's big, tall fucker, so you can get for corners. So.
yeah. There you go. And hopefully we got a few more set-piece goals before the end of the season. Bukayo Saka gets a few more goals for us as well. I want to see him pushing towards 20. Listen, that has been the Thursday Night Forum. Thank you for being here with us live and on the playback. Thank you, Alonso. I know it's not, hopefully they can pull it out in the last few minutes, but thanks, Alonso, for being here with me. Gary, also, Tony, and Lawrence as well. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks, Arsenal. This is being brought to you by Anne Hathaway and Leandro Trossard's goal. Anne Hathaway is a gooner.
Love you, Anne.
We're going to have to talk about what's that movie again?
The Devil Wears Prada.
The Devil Wears Prada. Okay. All right. With that.
So Ray, are we have to do like watch-alongs of her movies?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, no.
Oh.
I'll
bring the popcorn.
All right. Listen, we'll be back on Sunday. Thanks for watching, everybody. And leave a like on your way out, and we will see you on Sunday. Come on, you Gunners. Get 3 points against Bournemouth, and you never know. Wolverhampton Wanderers could do something for us versus City. We live in hope. Take care.